We Real Reels. All right, welcome to We Real Reels, the monthly podcast where we review old movies to find out if they as good as we remember or if they just ruin your fun, you cheapskate. I'm your host, Panda Brandon, and with me is the half-brother Grizzly Zay. And the beautiful Koala Sam.
Hello.
This podcast does contain spoilers and we will be discussing the movie at length. This is a mature content podcast, so be prepared for harsh language and awkward situations. All sound clips, music, and trailers are only used for review purposes and belong to their respective owners. This podcast is sponsored by The Collectors, comic book store located in Lebanon, Tennessee. You can follow them at The Collectors Toys on Instagram and Facebook. This podcast is also time-stamped. If you want to get past all the blah, blah, blah and jump to a certain segment, well, you can do that. Look in the episode description. Also, I'd like to apologize for the long episode last time. It was kind of longer than most. I think it was our longest one so far.
Yeah.
Probably.
So from now on, when we do podcasts, we're going to, if they're like a super long movie, we're going to do a part 1, part 2. That way we can keep these things a little shorter, but still give you the good details that we should be giving you.
You should have let me veto because I was the one that picked it. And I was like, oh, I really enjoyed the first one.
Yep.
And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh my God, this is how fucking long? Let me just stick to the original one. But no, Panda over here wouldn't let me fucking veto it and change it to the newer
Smash
one.
has decided.
Smash decides.
Smash decides. Also, speaking of it, what about this month's hypothetical? What would Pennywise do to capture and kill Kevin McAllister? Or could he? Indeed.
I think Kevin would have to see it first, maybe, and then devise a plan to set up a bunch of booby traps, maybe. But I don't know.
It doesn't
bro.
really
has to
come
do
into
with
the
fear.
house.
I mean, it does.
I mean, for Beverly, it fucked with the sink, like her house sink.
Yeah, it's
But
in the house, ain't it?
that's in
Yes,
it.
exactly.
But like,
He comes to the yard, house.
I don't know. Like,
I just don't think he'll fall for the tricks, maybe. I don't know, but I think Kevin's fucked.
Yeah, no. Pennywise feeds off fear. He loves fear. I don't
Right.
think Kevin will be scared. Maybe at
Kev-
first, but then he'll be
Right.
like, shut up.
Well, I don't know. He was scared of that old man, and the old man was nice until, you met him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if it's a scary clown with razor-sharp teeth,
He gonna hit him with a paint bucket, big
okay.
dog.
You just don't want to ruin your childhood.
Kevin McAllister, big dog. There's rumor has it that he grew up to be Jigsaw. So there's that.
for who?
Kevin McAllister grew up to be Jigsaw with all these intricate traps and plans
Who the hell thinks
for his
that?
victim. I don't know.
That's
Just a
weird.
thing.
People
All
are
right.
always trying to combine too much stuff.
Well, let's go on and get into our first segment of what you been doing and what you gonna do.
Hey, watch it, pal. What have you been doing? What are you gonna do, huh?
Grizz, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
All right, first off, let me give you a little, see what this says right there. This is the TWRA website where I can go online and it says I have a,
License
what type of license?
to kill. Big game gun supplement and combo hunt / fish license.
Here we
What?
go. So
What?
I got it, and I gotta get up tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna scout out what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna actually start hunting next week. Hopefully next week.
That's exciting.
Yep, we'll see. But
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I was talking to my instructor for my truck driving class, and he does it. And he was like, hey, I can give you a couple of pointers. So he gave me, man, who was talking for like an hour and a half, not even about trucking. Like, he was just like, I love to do this, and I love the passion and the knowledge. So I'll help you out as much as possible. So he's going to give
cool.
me the number to the guy that processes his deer whenever he shoots them. And bro, this is my year. This is one thing I always said I wanted to do. Y'all, if y'all been here since last year,
He's always said
I
it.
always said it. So
Hopefully
now,
next month you'll come in here and be like, I got my first one.
yeah. I'm a I don't know if I should post it on this
Do
but
it.
we'll see.
We've been talking about it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference, your first one, a doe or a buck, or does it really
It's
matter?
got to be a buck, unless like doe season comes, which I think is around January, maybe. But
Okay.
my mind is set on it. I got my gear, I got my gun, I got my bullets. Everything is set, and I just need my orange jacket, my orange like vest thing, and I'll be set to go out there, y'all. But
What's up?
with that, like I said, my instructor is my instructor for my CDL class, and apparently I'm doing so well, they want me to test early.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so today they had me backing up. So I think the last time I talked to you guys was about a week ago. They were like, I was like, hey, my worst part is backing up. I got that down now. So
Awesome.
yeah, they take me out around town. I was driving for like 45 minutes, and they let you go out for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you don't make no mistakes, they're like, all right, go ahead. So they're
Okay.
gonna like I think the week after Thanksgiving they're gonna test me,
2 weeks.
and I'm gonna get my CDL.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah.
about that.
Do you have
Yeah.
like your resume set up to be able
No, because what they're going to do is they're going to bring recruiters in to try to recruit me to a company, and those are the people that hire people straight out of class.
Oh, that's cool.
So I need to get a year experience before I go anywhere else.
Okay.
So that place that you sent me, I don't think they do anything unless I have the experience.
Damn.
But this first place I work at, I'm going to get the experience. I'm going to get the time, do my logs, do my EDLs, everything. So
Is the pay pretty decent with those
they
companies?
say when you first start off, it's probably going to be around $1,400 a week,
Dang.
which I don't think is
That's
bad.
better. No, that's not.
But then when you get that experience, it's going to be 15, 16.
That's
But then
badass.
I'm going to get like some endorsements, like some hazards, and like I'm going to probably do a tanker.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes up to 16, 17, 18.
A week?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So
You chose a great field
Yeah.
to get that money in.
Yep. So I'm ready.
That's exciting. I'm excited
Like
for you.
SpongeBob, I'm ready.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just getting ready for this coming up Halloween. The Christmas stuff, the parades and the
Oh yeah.
the guys' night we got planned.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, I'm very excited. Highly looking forward to this coming up month.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Grizz. I think I'll go next. This last month, we had an amazing Halloween party. That was pretty cool. Old Grizz dressed up as what is it, Steve?
Dodgeball.
Yeah, Steve from Dodgeball. Was it Peter? Yeah, I think it was Peter. Peter from Dodgeball.
Yeah, one of them.
The main
Any
guy.
of them?
Yeah. And his wife was from the Purple Cobras, man. So that was a pretty cool costume. Me and Koala dressed up as the Deadpool family, and it was a hit, man. We went to a few parties and won best costume. It was supposed to be a costume contest for individuals, but we just kept winning as families too. So it just worked out. But we also had some trouble with our damn costumes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we got them from Sim Cosplay. So if you order from there, be prepared for. It's a good looking costume.
It's not worth the price.
It's cheap material, and I had to drill holes in my mask because it was just a hard shell plastic mask, solid. Like I don't see how people could breathe.
They
so
couldn't.
I had to physically like take a drill, get a drill bit, and drill holes, breathable holes in there. Now it's great. The magnets were weak, so the eye shells kept popping off when I would turn my head too fast. So I had to go with Velcro on those. Had to replace that. I did that myself. The shin guard on one zipper just burst. So I've recently had a seamstress fix that. So it's a lot of problems that you shouldn't have with how much these costumes cost. But this Deadpool costume is doubling up as a promotional item for my the collector's comic book store. So it's going to pay off eventually. I went to a charity event called Muscular Dystrophy.
It's called Flex for
a Cause. And it was for kids with muscular dystrophy to show awareness, raise money for research on a cure. And Deadpool showed up out there. It was awesome. It was terrifyingly hot. I was baking and boiling inside there.
Yes, it was uncharacteristically hot for October.
Right.
Yes, but Deadpool did it. He came out and showed out and did his thing. Also, I had another old guy stop by the shop, and this guy reminded me of old Charlie. Just by his presence, though. He didn't look like Charlie, none didn't sound like him, but he was an old veteran, and his name was Gene. And he had come in, and he just started talking. And he was like, well, if you can't tell, I'm a veteran. And he had a Desert Storm on his helmet, his hat. But he also had Vietnam up on there. And then World War II, I think he said he fought in. Yeah, he was a veteran, man. He's been through it all. And he was telling me a story about, because I was asking, I was like, did you get drafted or did you go involuntarily? He said, I went involuntarily. And they said, the funny thing is, when I was over in Nam, they'd give you letters from your parents, your family, and stuff like that. And he said, my mom had sent me my letter and I opened it up. And it said that I was going to be drafted to go to Nam. And he said, I wrote back on it. It says, return to sender. I'm already here. So I thought that was pretty funny, man. And yeah, he had volunteered, went out there, served his time, and come back. And now he's got a family. And I think his son is married to a South American woman because he brought his grandson in who is from South America. And I thought that was pretty cool. And he liked comics and stuff. He told me he'd be back, and he came back.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm hoping I get more visits with Gene, man, because I think old Charlie's in the upper room.
Haven't seen him in a while.
When G.
That's right. I miss old Charlie, man.
Man, I was listening to one of our old podcasts, and I was like, bro, let me hear the story about old Charlie.
Mr. Charlie. Yeah, Mr. Charlie, I miss him. I wish he would come back just to talk. But we got old Gene. He gave me 2 visits, so hopefully he'll give me a 3rd. I like hearing these stories from the older generation. Also, I've gone through, I don't know, just see things and you hear things, and it kind of unlocks new pathways in your minds of thinking. And I've heard this before from John Cena. He talks about earning the day. He wants to feel like he's earned that sunset. Like, if he's been productive enough, has he changed enough people's minds? Has he earned enough? Has he done enough to really go to sleep that night? And I've kind of been of that mentality lately, man. It's like, so I'm at the shop, man. Have I made enough people smile? Have I sold enough today? Have I promoted enough today? Have I listed enough stuff? I just want to feel like I've done enough, so that when I go to bed, I don't feel like I've wasted this day. So I've kind of been on that kick lately.
Very positive thinking.
Yeah. And on the flip side, there's another side that if you're rude to me,
oh man,
I'm going to be rude to you. You get what you give, and I give it double. Okay? For example, let me tell you about this sucker that come into the shop the other day.
Man, he called me hot about it.
He comes in, and he's like a canockle. You ever heard of canockle? It's some
fuck is that?
Weird kind of ball on a string. It's not a ball in a cup, but
it's a ball in a cup.
Yeah, you just try to
take the ball, you put it in the cup, there's a ball in the cup.
But if it falls out of the cup, you don't have to worry, because the ball is attached to a string that's attached to the cup. Well, this ball is attached to a string that's attached to this thing called a conkle or something, and he went to some competition for it, and I was just like, okay, that's cool, I've never heard of that. He says, yeah, there's competitions all over the place for it, you can win money, there's a champion, and you do all these tricks, there's a trick list. And I was like, wow, there's like so many worlds out there that I just don't even know exist. So that's interesting. But he ended up buying a Loki pop for his girlfriend, Loki, the Asgardian god from Marvel, and he bought it. He went on about his way. Great. Well, a little bit later on that day, he comes back in with the same pop, but in a different bag that I didn't give him. Kind of weird, but I think none of it. And he says, my girlfriend's already got this pop. And I was like, okay. He's like, well, probably want to trade it in for something else. And I said, okay, well, let me go and explain the rules, because we don't do exchange. I mean, we do exchange. We don't do refunds. And before I could take my breath to say my next word, he just starts walking out. All right. He doesn't want to hear what I say. That's an interruption. He's being rude. So he just walks out. So I look at the customer next to me, and I'm like, well, I guess he didn't want to hear that. Well, another customer comes in, and he decides, you know what? I think I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. He turns around to come back into the store, and he says, hey, man, I just want to let you know. I said, no. Before you say whatever smart-ass comment's going to come out of your mouth, I'm going to explain to you what I was going to say before you walked out. And then I proceed. I said, we don't do refunds, but if there's something in here that we can exchange it for, we can do that. But if there isn't, I just have to let you know up front, we don't do refunds. That's all I was going to say before you were rude to me first. And then he's like, I apologize, man. It's been a long day. I've had 3 hours of sleep, and I had to do this. And I said, that's fine, man. That's fine. All that's fine. And I said, I apologize too, because I might have got an attitude and raised my voice a little bit. So we're good, man. Just find you something else, and we can exchange it. So we exchanged. He found a new pop. He was happy. He left. But
I'm tired. I haven't had any sleep. I've had a sore throat for like a week and a half.
Yes. Bro, there's no excuse to be rude. And I'm not, the Collectors is not a store for people just to test, what they can get away with. because you won't. I'm like the soup Nazi. No soup for you. Get out. But besides that, man, it's great being at the Collectors and having a great time. Next month, we are getting ready for the Christmas parade. Deadpool's going to be in the 11 and Christmas parade. So if you want to see that, come on out. It's on December 1st, 2024 at 1 o'clock. So come check that out. And I think that's going to be about it for me. So Koala, what do you got?
Okay, so this month was a lot. I will say the month of October, I think just overall just burnt me the out. It was a lot. So we ended up having to put our 8-year-old Frenchie to sleep due to a brain tumor. We kind of already guessed that she had some things going on. Because of her front legs been kind of getting wonky the last couple years, but we weren't expecting to just her, I don't know, in the afternoon just automatically start being dizzy, couldn't walk straight. You look at her eyes and they're just going like back and forth. So we ended up taking to the doctor the next day and they suspected the brain tumor. So we're like, let's try medicine, but it was just to the point where she wasn't going to get better. So we ended up putting her to sleep, which was very unexpected. Every single Saturday and Sunday of the month of October, we had some sort of events going on. So that was super busy. When I wasn't busy with that, I was getting our backyard ready for the Halloween party because we had a haunted trail. So that whole back part of our house, like the backyard, was full of like tiny branches, thorns, weeds, brush, like a whole bunch of crap. So it took several days to get that cleared out.
Did an amazing job.
Thank you. We did host a Halloween party, which was really cool. It did have a great turnout, and I think everybody had a great time. I did also donate plasma twice. I ended up going through CSL Plasma, and you can get money off of donation, but me, I don't know, my body's just really weird. I almost passed out both times, and then the second time was worse than the first time. So they're like, we're not gonna be able to, you potentially might be able to keep donating, but you're gonna have to get a doctor to look at you, see what's going on. I was like, I feel like shit, I'm not, even though it's like $90 each time, great money, I'm like, it's not worth it.
It's a low iron, girl. Get a low iron.
But the second time, I ended up taking iron pills. I took daily vitamins. I drank a whole bunch of water. I ate a shit ton of protein. I'm on it.
Oh, you got that anemia.
She left the donation place, fell asleep, and then she woke up at home. She's like, I don't even know how I got it.
No. I had to get Panda to help me the first go around because I ended up getting in the shower a couple hours later.
Oh my God, just bleeding out. Just has her arm open, not even trying to hold the wound or nothing.
I did too.
She's like, look, I need help.
No, he's being dramatic. No, I'm weird. No, I'm weird. I like laying on the bathroom floor. It's very relaxing. Or the shower tub floor. So I think when I went to get up, I ended up using the arm that I donated with, and I didn't have a Band-Aid on because I was like, it's been a couple hours. It'll be fine. So I stood up and I looked down and there's just like blood all over the floor. So I held it. I'm like, help me. So he had to come in and had to help me with that. So unfortunately, it's very depressing because that was easy money and no longer able to do that. So yeah, it was a very busy October. But next month, I have no extra plans, just pretty much the basics, the family night, the date night, the podcast. I am in the process of trying to get unburnt. I think it's good. I haven't been doing too much and I've been trying to sleep. Our child keeps waking up. But beyond that, it's working. We are hosting Thanksgiving. That won't take too much time. It's not going to be a big get together this go around, which it's fine. So I'm not going to be like stressing the hell out on being like, oh my God, I got to host. I got to clean the whole entire house, get a whole bunch of stuff set up. So I think it'd be cool. But yeah, I just plan on being lazy. I did start working out this week and I have my leg up. I have no idea what happened.
Old knees, girl. You just turned 30, didn't you?
Yes, I did. But it's not my knees. It's my thigh. Like, I don't know if it's my muscle that
It's just working its way down.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's hurting and I've been limping, but I'm like, I'm working out every single day on the treadmill until it's just gonna have to deal with it. It's gonna have to be fine. So yeah, pushing through.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that, Koala. And now we're gonna go ahead and jump on into Grizzly's Anime in Arms.
It's over 9,000.
All right out there. Let me say, what's the most influential weapon that you know? Koala, go.
The only one that I can think on my head is the AK-47.
My turn?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to go with a gun.
Oh, man.
Was that closer?
I think he wants you to give a serious
Yeah,
answer.
specific amount. Okay,
Yeah, give a serious
Either
answer.
way, you wouldn't have got it because Koala got it. Hey, it's the AK-47, also known as the Automat Kalashnikov.
Wow.
What language is that?
This is Russian. Okay, it's an assault rifle that is chambered for 762 by 39 millimeter. It's those cartridges they have there, and apparently this is the one that can fit in a lot of chambers whenever it fires. This weapon is supposed to be able to withstand extreme heat, extreme cold, mud, wetness, every blood, anything that gets on the brain matter, whatever. It's supposed to fire through it. It was developed in the Soviet Union by a Russian small arms dealer named Malachi Kalashnikov. Okay, it is the originating firearm of the Kalashnikov and is the AK family of rifles. Okay, after more than 7 decades since its creation, the AK-47 model and its variants remain one of the most popular and widely used firearm in the world. I think it was invented in 1949 all the way up until 1974 by the Soviet Union.
You think?
Yeah, it did. I mean, sorry, it was. And in the Soviet Union and nowhere else, because it's way more now, it sold 75 million to 100 million.
Dang.
Just in Russia. And now they have different like Soviet Union run countries, like, you know, a whole bunch of places in Africa that they sold off the rights to because they didn't want America to have it during the Cold War. So, you know, the places that you see that's real bad in Africa that's doing all this, you know, these wars, these little civil war things. Yeah. But the length of this is 880 millimeters, or that's 35 inches. The firing rate on an automatic one of these is 600 rounds per minute.
Dang.
Yeah, that's a whole bunch. And the effective firing range is 0 to 380 yards. Mikhail Kalashnikov, a Soviet tank mechanic and a World War II veteran, designed the AK-47 after being wounded in 1941. He was inspired by a German STG-44, the first true assault rifle in World War II. And the Soviets, whenever he made it, adopted it because more and more soldiers wanted to keep using it in World War II. Even the Americas, whenever they were fighting some of the people from Russia before they switched over, were stealing the Soviets' guns because it created, like, it was more reliable than the America guns that they had. But yeah, the AK-47 is the most influential weapon I've ever. Before I even knew about guns, I knew about the AK-47, and I'm gonna tell you where I knew about these from. It's from movies, games, and TV.
What about music?
Oh yeah,
AK-47 to 11 in my white tee.
yeah.
Okay.
And that too, yeah. There you go. Almost every damn rap song got about it. But here's a couple of movies it's been in. It's been in Apocalypse Now, Rocky IV, Rambo 3, Tears of the Sun, Blood Diamond, Hitman, X-Men First Class, Safe House, Dark Knight Rises, a lot of movies, okay? Bunch of TV shows like The Sopranos, Charlie's Angels, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, Last of Us, a bunch of TV shows.
Okay.
But I think this is the one where I'm like, what is this gun? This is pretty cool. It's from video games. 007 GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah.
It had that thing on there. That thing was so accurate.
My God.
Perfect Dark, GTA 3, Call of Duty, Far Cry, Uncharted, Max Payne. It was in, it's I believe, the most influential weapon ever made. And now they had a contract for the AK-47 that I guess it went through court to try to extend like how you can make it if other people can take the designs, and it failed like in 2019. And now America's making their own version of AK-47. Italy's making their own AK-47, like Beretta. They're making their own, like all these places are making their own AK-47, just trying to replicate how reliable the Soviets did it.
Are they able to call it AK-47?
They have to call it something or other 47.
Beretta 47.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I say I love the way that you can do different mods to it. Add, bump stock, or you can, not a bump stock, you can add a bump stock to this one. The drums, I think it comes with a 30 round. You can get a 50, you can get 100, you can get 1,000 if you have the arm strength for it. But this is one of the ones that I believe with time I would want to get, because right now US is selling it for about $850. I'm not ready for that right now.
Not too bad considering Desert Eagle's like $3,000.
Yeah, but eventually I might see myself getting a little 47.
Okay.
What the hell are you gonna do with that? Because that's not like a protect the house thing. That's
Yes,
like
it
a
is.
zombie apocalypse.
Say hello
gun.
to my little friend.
There you go.
Well, that's all right, Grizz. I hope you stay safe for that AK-47.
211 in my white tee.
That's right.
And I got a white tee.
Well, let's go and get into Panda Tales.
Sit back and prepare yourself for Panda Tales.
Alright guys, welcome to Panda Tales, and as you know, Panda Tales, we tell a kind of true story that's related to the movie that we're doing today, which is Home Alone. And I have a couple short stories, and then one long one. So let's just go ahead and get this bad boy started off.
Let's go.
The first one is called The Loud Alarm Case. A young teenager in a suburban area left home alone heard a window being broken. They immediately turned up the volume on their home stereo system to its highest setting, creating enough noise to scare the intruder away and alert neighbors.
Nice.
Next one is called The Pet Dog Defense. A young child alone at home with a family dog heard suspicious sounds downstairs. They quickly let the dog loose, which started barking loudly, deterring the potential intruder from entering further. Next one is The Smartphone Call. A teen left home alone discovered a break-in in progress. They discreetly called the police from their phone, providing a detailed description of the intruder while hiding in a safe room. They were decapitated.
Oh, shit.
No, it didn't say that. It's just,
No,
that was
man,
left
damn.
out. The next one is the neighbor alert. A child hearing noises downstairs yelled out to their neighbor through the window, alerting them to the potential break-in, which led to the neighbor calling the police. Short stories. Now, the long one. This one also took place in Chicago, like our movie here. But unlike that movie, this kid didn't set traps. He did assist in the capture of some bad people. In a grand mansion in Chicago, Baby Bink lived a life of luxury. His parents adored him, and he was always surrounded by love and care. One day, his parents decided to have his photograph taken by professional photographers. Little did they know the photographers were actually 3 bumbling kidnappers with a devious plan. The kidnappers, Eddie, Norby, and Vico, managed to snatch Baby Bink and took him to their hideout. But Bink, being a curious and adventurous baby, had other plans. He crawled out of their grasp and began an unexpected journey through the bustling city. Bink's adventure started at a construction site where he narrowly avoided danger by crawling through beams of scaffolding. The kidnappers in hot pursuit found themselves in one mishap after another, always a step behind the clever baby. Next, Bink found himself at the zoo. He crawled into the gorilla enclosure where a gentle gorilla took a liking to him and protected him from the frantic kidnapper. The trio's attempts to retrieve Bink only led to more chaos and embarrassment. Bink's journey continued to a department store where he caused a series of comedic accidents. The kidnappers, exhausted and frustrated, couldn't keep up with the baby's antics. Meanwhile, Bink's parents and the FBI were desperately searching for him, following the trail of mayhem he left behind. Finally, Bink made his way back home, crawling into his own crib just as his parents arrived. The kidnappers, defeated and disheveled, were apprehended by the authorities. Bink's parents were overjoyed to have their baby back, safe and sound. And so, Baby Bink's day out ended with him back in the loving arms of his family, having had an adventure that no one would ever forget. How about that? I think the baby was like less than a year old too. He didn't know how to walk.
Yeah.
He was crawling everywhere. Amazing story. It's amazing what babies can do. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get into our movie review here. But before we do, as you know, we always enjoy our movie review with an adult beverage. And this month's adult beverage is Evan Williams Apple Cinnamon Whiskey. Evan Williams Apple Cinnamon Whiskey combines rich, smooth bourbon with crisp apple and warm cinnamon flavors. This expertly blended whiskey delivers a sweet and inviting aroma with hints of juicy apple and a subtle hint of cinnamon spice. Perfect for sipping chilled or mixed in an autumn-inspired cocktails. Evan Williams Apple Cinnamon Whiskey offers a delicious twist on traditional bourbon. That is a silent pour right there.
I thought that was going to be bloop, 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 bloop.
There was really no movies that this specific Evan Williams was in, so we really don't have no movies for that one.
Oh, you can just do Evan Williams?
Oh, man, I forgot to tell y'all, too. I put the podcast on YouTube. We are on YouTube now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's been going crazy. We have over 260 views on the Witch Hunter episode.
I don't know why that one's specific. Like, people just must love Vin Diesel.
And then like 180 views on the thing.
And his hat.
And
stupid ass hat.
So since we're on YouTube now, guys, please like and subscribe and comment. Comment. Tell us what you think about the episodes. Tell us what we could do better besides quit. And just give us some insight on this stuff. Let us know. We're doing this for fun, so let's keep it going and see how entertaining we can make it for you guys. All right, so what do you say? We ready, guys?
Where are you going? We're gonna miss the plane!
When the McAllister family left on their Christmas vacation,
Did we miss the plane? No, you just made it. Yeah!
they forgot one small thing.
Have yourself.
I've a terrible feeling. Did you lock up?
Let yourself be light.
Do we set the timers on the lights?
What else could we be forgetting?
Kevin!
Home alone.
Police in the northern suburbs are on the lookout for a pair of burglars who are calling themselves the Wet Bandits.
We know that you're in there.
It's Santa Claus and his elf.
Get off my property.
This is my house. I have to defend it.
Where's your mother?
My mom's in the car.
Where's your father?
He's at work.
What about your brothers and sisters?
I'm an only child.
Where do you live?
Can't tell you that.
Why not?
Because you're a stranger.
He's a kid. I mean, what can a kid do to us?
Kids are stupid. I know I was.
You still are, Marv.
This is it.
I don't care if I have to get out on your runway and hitchhike. I am going to get home to my sons.
Yes!
Where are you, you little creep? I'm gonna kill that kid! Why'd you take your shoes off?
Why are you dressed like a chicken?
Gus Polinski, polka king of the Midwest. If you have to get to Chicago, we'll gladly drive you.
Hey, guys.
Yesterday, he was just a kid. But tonight, he's a home security system.
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?
From John Hughes.
I got a feeling this is going to be your best Christmas ever.
A family comedy without the family. Home Alone.
Are you here all alone?
I'm 8 years old. You think I'd be here alone? I don't think so.
Directed by Chris Columbus, coming November 16th.
Really holiday-esque, you know what I'm saying? Just a real holiday moment there.
Gotta love them.
Yeah, we are watching Home Alone, and where you can watch this at is Disney Plus, or you can buy it on physical or digital. This movie is directed by Chris Columbus, not Christopher Columbus, the guy who discovered America, but the Chris Columbus, who also did Adventure in Babysitting, Heartbreak Hotel, Home Alone 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, Bicentennial Man, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Rent, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief,
Nice.
Pixels, and The Christmas Chronicles. This, have y'all seen any of those?
Yeah, a lot of
Harry Potter.
everything except for Rent.
That
was a rant.
That's I know it started off as a play, like on Broadway, but it's another play, like AIDS. Everyone has AIDS.
Dun, 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 dun.
AIDS. This movie starring Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd, and Catherine O'Hare. It came out on November 16th, 1990. Other movies that came out in November of 1990 were Jacob's Ladder, Child's Play 2, Dances with Wolves, Rocky 5, 3 Men and a Little Lady, Predator 2, and Misery.
Nice. Misery.
Misery indeed. It had an $18 million budget and made $476.7 million.
Jeez.
Yeah, they went pretty hard on that. They didn't give a damn. Great ass movie. Anyways, let's get into the plot. When bratty 8-year-old Kevin McAllister acts out the night before a family trip to Paris, his mother makes him sleep in the attic. After McAllisters mistakenly leave for the airport without Kevin, he awakens to an empty house and assumes his wish to have no family has come true. But his excitement sours when he realizes that 2 con men plan to rob the McAllister residence and that he alone must protect the family home. Are y'all ready for this?
Definitely on the truth about him being bratty.
On the truth.
I did notice that this was the original 20th Century Fox signal and song. I haven't seen that in a while.
Well, you ain't watched old movies in a while then. Huh?
Nope, not at all.
Okay. Well, we start off with somewhere in my memory from the Home Alone soundtrack. Not actually in my memory. The song is called Somewhere in My Memory. It's playing.
Where's it from, bro?
No, it's playing in the background here, which was done by John Williams. And then we see a chaotic house with kids running all over the place, left and right, upstairs, downstairs, and there's a police officer trying to get someone's attention.
Who let that cop in and did not handle it right then and there? Or did he just come in on his own?
I mean, with a chaotic ass house like that, he could have just walked the hell in.
Yeah.
Nobody cared.
Nobody's paying attention to him. And then we go to a woman on the phone talking about going to Montreal, and the little boy comes in. It's her son, and he says that Uncle Frank won't let him watch a movie, but the big kids can. Why can't he? She says that she's on the phone, and he continues to pester her like a kid does, telling her that Uncle Frank is being a jerk. And she says if Uncle Frank says no, it must be really bad.
Also, who's talking on the phone while they're trying to pack? Like, this house is chaotic. You've already seen that. Like, she needs to be putting that phone down and just paying attention to what she's doing.
Well, he jumps on the bed in the middle of her packing, and she says, Kevin, get off. Get off the bed. And he says, hang up the phone and make me, why don't you?
Man, this kid would have gotten slapped.
And she does. And she, oh no, she doesn't. She doesn't.
He slapped him.
She stays. She stays on the phone, and the dad comes in asking about his voltage adapter for his shaver. And the little boy says, Dad, they don't want to let me do anything. And he says, well, I got something we can do. You can go pick up all those micro machines in the hallway because Aunt Leslie stepped on one and almost broke her neck.
Oh, I didn't even hear that part.
The boy tells him that he was making Christmas decorations out of fish hooks. And he says, my new fish hooks? And the kid's like, yeah. And that's when Leslie comes in, the aunt.
Wait, hold on. Why is nobody watching this child? Like, how in the hell did he get in the garage?
They have kids everywhere. They're not looking for none of these kids. They're trying to pack and go somewhere and get organized.
That is too much.
11 kids? How many fucking kids they got?
No, that fish hook was before they all got there. They only have, 4 of their own?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. No.
Well, Leslie comes in and she's like, do you have a voltage adapter? And the dad says, yeah, here's one. And he passes the son off to Leslie. And then she just walks out of the room. She tells him to go ahead and pack your suitcase. And he's like, pack my own suitcase?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they're leaving that up to an 8-year-old kid.
Then we go back to the police officer who's still downstairs trying to find someone to talk to, but nobody will listen to him. He's asking people, are your parents here? And everyone he talks to has some kind of excuses. They do live here, but they're not here, or they don't live here, but they're here. I don't know. They just kept giving him the runaround. So he says, all kids, no parents. Probably a fancy orphanage. And then we see Kevin, the little boy from earlier, trying to get help packing a suitcase, and nobody will help him. His older brothers are telling him he's completely helpless. And then Lenny, another cousin, or maybe it's a sister, I don't know, tells Kevin, what are you so worried about? You know, mom's going to pack your stuff anyway. Maybe it's a sister. And she says, you know what you're what the French called les incompetents. And then Jeff, the redheaded kid who he was talking to before, he ends up throwing a suitcase down the stairs, talking about some Geronimo, and it lands at the police officer's feet. And so, he's looking up like, what the going on here? Then Lenny tells Kevin that he has to sleep in the same bed as Fuller. If he has something to drink, he's going to wet the bed. Kevin said, this house is full of people. It makes me sick. When I grow up and get married, I'm living alone. Do you hear me? I'm living alone.
I will say,
I'm living alone.
Already, this kid's annoying. Doing the temper tantrum, jumping up and down like a fool. Like, ugh.
It's kind of funny though, because when he grows up and gets married, he's gonna live alone.
I mean, like, yeah, but still.
Ain't that the dream?
And then we see a kid tapping on a tarantula cage or a tank, and then he says, "Who's gonna feed your spider when you're gone?" And then Kevin's older brother Buzz says that he just ate a bunch of rat guts, so he should be good for a while. And then the kid asks, "Is it true that French babes don't shave their arms?" And the other kid says, "Yeah, some don't. They got nude beaches, not in the winter."
I don't know how he thought he was even gonna get on one anyways.
Yeah, it's true. And that's when Kevin snuck in and he's like, "Hey, Buzz. And then Buzz turns around and is like, "What do you want, flimwad?" And Kevin asks, "Can I sleep in your room?" Buzz says, "I wouldn't let you sleep in my room if you were growing on my ass."
Buzzwad.
Then they hear something outside, so all three go to the window. And one kid asks, "Who is he?" And Buzz, he has this whole rumor he heard. He said it's the South Bend Shovel Slayer. That's him. Back in 58, he murdered his whole family and half the people on this block with a snow shovel. Oh, God. How does he do that? I don't know. But,
I will say it's really nice that the fact that the old man is shoveling salt on the sidewalks. He didn't have to do that. It was very nice. That's very nice.
He's doing
and probably expensive too. So.
And they was talking about where did he put the bodies at? And they were talking about he puts them in that trash can, the salt. Was it dry out the bodies? Or some crap like that? They didn't have enough evidence to convict him. What the kind of shit? Like, I believe we would believe this if we were younger, too. And so he's just spreading the rumors, man.
The shit that I remember my sisters and them telling me, I could definitely see myself believing this shit.
Oh, he said that the salt turns the bodies into mummies. Kevin seems freaked out by this. The salt guy looks up and sees the kids looking through the window, and they all hurry up and try to close the curtains. And then the pizza delivery guy comes just screeching down the road and into the McAllister driveway, where he knocks over this statue in the beginning of the house.
Okay, so on the side of the car, it was just so stupid and dumb, but it says Little Nero delivers in 20 minutes or you don't pay. What if they legit live 30 minutes away? And then also, do they include the time of making and cooking the pizza? Or is it just 20 minutes after you order?
Ask Domino's. They got that shit down to a science.
Yeah. And if you live 30 minutes away and it's 20 minutes left, they ain't delivering you. Okay?
That's why this fool's driving so chaotic.
Yeah, he was going crazy speeding fast. But he sets the statue back up, and then we see two kids wearing glasses just open mouth staring at the police officer, and he's trying to talk to them, but they're just not responding. They're just looking at him. I don't know I don't know what they're just trying to figure out what he's doing or what's going on. I don't know. And then they hear a knock at the door, and the officer answers it, and it's the pizza delivery guy.
How long has this cop been standing there?
He's been there for about 10 minutes. He has to have been there. But then this pizza dude comes in with the most amount of pizzas I've seen anybody carry in my life.
10 pizzas. And he says, "So it's $122.50." And
it's cheap for fucking...
Hell yeah, for 10 pizzas? And they're probably large size pizzas too. It's a very big size pizza.
Yeah, and they're pan pizzas. You think so? Well, he tries to collect the money from the cop, but he's like,
I mean, obviously that's a fucking cop. He don't live there.
And then that's when Frank comes and grabs the pizzas, and he's like, "I just need the money." And he says, "Oh, this is my brother's house. He'll pay you."
Cheap ass.
And that's when Mr. McAllister comes down and greets the officer and the pizza man. The police officer says, "I'd like to have a word with you, Mr. McAllister." And he says, "Am I under arrest or something?" And he says, No, nothing like that. It's Christmas time. There's a lot of burglars, and I always want to make sure that everybody's staying safe during the holidays. And then neither one of them got what they wanted because he didn't pay for the pizza guy.
And he just walked away.
And he didn't tell the cop where he was going or when he was leaving.
No, like he just...
So they still standing there. So they get to the kitchen area. And that's when Mr. McAllister tells Kate that you got to pay for the pizza. It's $122.50 for the pizzas. And she's like, "Really? For 10 pizzas?" And Frank says, 10 pizzas, $12 a pop. And Leslie's like, "You can pay, can't you, Frank?" He says, "No, I got traveler's checks."
Cheap ass.
And so when Kevin gets down there, there's no cheese pizza left, which is his favorite. But Buzz says, "I grabbed the last slice, and you can get some. Hold on, it's coming up." Yeah, he acts like he's gonna barf. He's like, "Get a plate." And I guess Kevin's had enough. So he goes and tackles Buzz, which knocks over the milk or eggnog all over the counter, which makes
is all over the damn tickets, plane tickets.
Yeah, which makes
away and everything.
makes Mr. McAllister spill his drink on the table when he tried to get up and clean the mess. Which Frank scoots back and he pins Fuller to the wall with his chair.
Which, by the way, they were saying that Fuller has an issue with wetting the bed, but his ass was drinking a fucking Coke or a Pepsi. Like, I would have not have given a young child a soda at dinner time.
Yeah, he pins Fuller up against the wall, and Frank looks at Kevin and says, "Look what you did, you little jerk."
They all mean mugging this 8-year-old.
Yeah, they were all mad at him. And his mom tells him to get upstairs right now. When Jess tells him, "Kevin, you're a disease." And she says, "Say goodnight, Kevin." And he says, "Good night, Kevin." She's
such a smart ass.
And she starts taking him upstairs. She runs into the pizza man and pays him the money plus tip. Kevin says, "Why don't you bring me more cheese pizza?" And the guy's like, "Oh, okay, nice tip. Thanks a lot." Then the police officer smiles at Kevin with his gold tooth, and the mom tells them everything about the trip, where they're going, when they're leaving, when they'll be back. And the police officer's like, "Excellent." And
she gives way too much.
"I'll be right back." And he says, "Don't worry about me. I spoke to your husband. You don't have to worry about your home. It's in good hands."
Which also, they made a point in saying that the brother-in-law moved to Paris and that he's the one that's like getting them to go all out there. But his kids are still here. So did his kids stay here? Is the mom here? I do want a little bit more information.
No, I don't really care. Brother-in-law's not in the story.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah,
we just know he's cheap and then he's from France.
No, not that. That's actually
No. The brother-in-law that lives in Paris to move to work there, he's the one that's paying for them to get all out there. For them to get to Paris.
He's the one that used to live in New York.
Right.
The police officer leaves and she's escorting Kevin upstairs. And she says,
So there's like 13 people in this house.
15 people in this house, and you're the only one that has to make trouble.
Yep.
And they got upstairs, and she's like, "Kevin, now get upstairs." And he says, "I am upstairs, dummy."
Oh, man. They letting this bad behavior go on
y'all
way too long.
Y'all like that. What was
Man.
Hell to the no.
Ooh-wee.
Straight up. I mean, okay. So if he's doing it in like a jokey manner, that might be one thing. But no, this fool is just straight up being a dick. Hell no.
Well, she opens the attic door to the third floor, and he says, "The third floor? It's scary up there." And she says, "So you and
he was complaining about Fuller wetting the bed for him to sleep there, and then she's like, "Well, we'll find another place for Fuller," but it's like, "You still staying up here by yourself because you being a brat."
Yeah, at least she put him somewhere else. And he says, "I'm sorry." And she says, "It's too late. Get upstairs." So he goes and turns around and says, "Everyone in this family hates me."
She's like, maybe you can ask Santa for a new
Yeah.
family, which I would not say after a child say, "Well, everybody in the family hates me." Like, I would not be like, "Well, maybe ask Santa for a new family." Like, no, you're supposed to reassure the child that, like, hey, the family actually don't hate you.
We love you, child. Just grow up a little bit and you can see what's going on or some shit like that.
Yeah, no, I feel like she definitely had a terrible response.
Well, he says, "I don't want a new family. I don't want any family. Family sucks." And she says, "So we'll stay up there. I don't want to see you again for the rest of the night." And he says, "I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life.
Man,
I don't want to
child.
see anybody else either." And she says, "I hope you don't mean that, because you'd feel pretty sad if you woke up tomorrow morning and you didn't have a family." And he says, "No, I wouldn't." And she says, "Then say it again and maybe it'll happen."
Yeah, what the hell is she saying? Like, why is she
Trying to
saying
give
all
him some
this?
tough love.
Nah, that ain't no tough love. That's being,
He says, "I hope I never see any of you jerks again," and storms upstairs.
This is how white people talk to their white babies.
hell no.
As Kevin goes to bed upstairs, there's a flag above his head, which looks like CM Punk's little design that he used to wear on his wrestling gear. But Kevin says to himself as he is laying in bed, "I wish they would all just disappear." And that night, there seems to be a storm blowing through, real windy. There's decorations flowing all down the street. The wreath on the door is struggling to stay on.
But there's no rain, no snow, no nothing.
And a limb from a tree breaks right onto the power line, causing a power outage for the McAllister house around 4:37 a.m.
So specific.
And then someone's knocking on the door. It turns out to be the Airport Express. Looks like they all arranged a traveling service to go to the airport.
Which they also hit the damn statue.
That's when the mom wakes up and notices that the clock is blinking 12, and her and Mr. McAllister jump out of bed and after just sleeping, like kick up like Shawn Michaels, and then they're like, we almost left. Yeah, and then there's this huge rushing scene of everyone rushing to get where they're going. They had to hurry and get their bags more packed and thrown downstairs and get everything ready.
Everybody taking showers, everybody ain't brushed their teeth, nothing.
Bro, there's another kid too, a neighbor kid, who just walks over to the van and starts talking to one of the drivers.
Annoying the hell out of him, but
His
like
name is Mitch Murphy.
I don't understand. Like I must be a very organized person, because I will literally write a packing list, literally list to like items to items, and I will highlight it, make it sure. I will do this like a week before we're supposed to go somewhere, and the only things I have to pack the day of is obviously toothbrush, toothpaste, and my phone charger. They were so unprepared. I feel like this would have never happened if I was in this situation. I would have been
10 kids to manage. So.
I still would have handled it. 4 kids, one.
One kid giving you attitude, the other one's giving each other attitudes, they fighting, and then they saying something to you. Then they saying something to the dad. No, bro, you ain't gonna.
But that's why you have to be prepared and have a list and have it checked off and do all this like beforehand, not wait until the day before.
Those kids ain't gonna do nothing, man.
Well, that's the parents' responsibility to make sure their shit is handled. You can't just leave it up to an 8-year-old to pack their bag. That's probably why he got forgotten, is because he never packed the bag and the mom didn't pack.
Well, it's Mitch Murphy. He lives across the street. He starts asking a bunch of questions to the driver, and the drivers are trying to ignore him. And the mom asks Peter McAllister where he put the tickets, and he said he put them in the microwave to help dry them off.
But why in the hell is this kid coming over there annoying? I would say no, because it would still be a mushy, because I would assume no, you would lay it out and have it aired out, because I'm assuming the microwave's not that big. 15 tickets, he just shoved it in there, so it's just gonna be a mushy ass mess.
Let me scientifically tell y'all about how microwaves work back in the 90s compared to now.
Okay.
All right.
Oh man, didn't know that. Okay, that's all you get.
Okay,
yep, that's all I got.
Well, she puts her oldest niece in charge of head counting, and Buzz is messing with her as she's counting. Mitch, the kid from the other house, while he's digging through their stuff, and
why?
When she says that's a good count, because she counted Mitch as Kevin, it's all right. Half in this van and the other half in the other van. And Mitch leaves as they're all packing in, and Frank tells Peter there's no way we're going to make it to this plane, at least in 45 minutes. He says, think positive. And he says, you stay positive. I'll be real.
I feel like that's true.
It's before 9/11 too, so you can't fucking...
There's no way. There's no way.
Ain't no way now. Hell no. I was 45 minutes late when we were supposed to be at the terminal at one. I think it was in Vegas. Mm-hmm. We missed our flight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Makes
because
sense.
Yeah, there's so much foot traffic there, bro. It's crazy.
You always late.
I'm always late, but still.
Well, the electrician comes over and he tells her that the power lines are back up and running, but the phone lines are a mess. They're backed up, especially around the holidays. She gets a head count from Heather and she tells her about everybody that's in there, and they're off to the airport.
There's no way in hell. There's no way. My anxiety, like literally, when I pull out of my driveway, I'm looking at the garage and I'm like, the garage is down, the alarm is set. There's no way I would have been able to been like, oh, hey, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, did you make sure you get the head count? I would have had to been like, touch the head. Okay, this kid's here, and just go down the line. There's no way. So that's what I would have done.
That's when we hear Chuck Berry's Run, Run, Rudolph, and they're running to the airport, rushing to get to their flight that they're already late for. Run, run, Rudolph, Santa's gotta make it to town.
This one, all the adults were at the front of the line, and they were kind of running and like looking behind them. There's no way. Like, I would have made sure one parent is at the front. There was 4 adults, so what I would have done is have one parent at the front running, have 2 on the sides, and the one at the end. Just have them all on the side, because there's way too much foot traffic. Somebody's gonna get lost.
Bro, you can't tell me what to do. I'm running through a damn airport.
Well, the gate steward opens the door, and she's like, you made it just in time. Take whatever seat you can.
How the hell did they make this? in 45 minutes.
They all run into the plane, excited to go to France.
No, they just have to live super close because there's no way that they would say 30 minutes. They live 30 minutes from the airport. There's no way that they would have been able to get all of that luggage from the car, run all the way in there, go through the security, get to the gate within 15 minutes. So they would have to have lived super fucking close, like within 5-10 minutes.
It's before 9/11.
Well, Frank makes his way to his seat and asks for champagne, and he says it's free, isn't it? And the mom and Peter are sitting in their seat, and she's like, we made it. I hope we didn't forget anything.
My question is, how in the hell did...
How many questions you got?
How in the hell did Kevin not wake up? You got with the 15 people in that house, so 14 other people running around up and down the stairs, carrying all... Yes, he's in the attic. There is still... Like, how in the hell did he not hear anything?
He's in the attic.
No.
And that's when we see Kevin coming down from upstairs, bedhead and everything.
Way too much wallpaper up in that house.
He walks downstairs and turns a small little television on, and then sits at the little bar area in the kitchen.
I noticed that there was only one knife and one knife sharpener that was on the kitchen, the knife block on the kitchen counter.
That is very unimportant. Nobody cares about that.
Well, it's something that I noticed.
And he takes a look around the kitchen slowly. He gets up and turns the TV off and yells, "Mom!" But then we go back to the airport where Frank is trying to steal the salt and pepper shakers.
I feel like this is something that Panda would do.
Telling his wife to put him in her purse.
You can tell he's cheap as hell. This is the first time that he's been on first class.
And then Kate says, "Don't you feel like a heel flying first class when the rest of the family's flying coach?" And Peter says, at least they don't have to drive. When he was young, they all piled into a station wagon. They drove all around country. The kids are okay. You know, they'll be fine back there.
I guess that's normal for in the 90s to just be like, bye, kids. Do your own thing. We're going to go up here and relax.
Plane ride.
Yeah, why would you just... Okay. This is my thing. If I had kids... and I had enough money, only me and my wife is going to be in front, like first class, because they can't appreciate first class, you know? I feel like you gotta appreciate first class to get in there and just like.
But are you doing as a good child that can sit back there and entertain themselves, or are you just kind of like you gonna let all the other people
up until they're probably like 16, 17, and they've flown planes like all the time, and like they know how coach is, how crowded it is, and how stinky or how annoying. Like whatever is going on is, then they get their first class. They're like, oh, okay.
I don't know. I just foresee, like, if Kevin's a brat, I just feel like all the other kids could potentially be a brat, and you just unleashing that brattiness onto everybody else. Like, I feel like that's very.
All of them want first class. Fuck that. Hell no.
Well, Kevin, he's still searching the house for his mom and the rest of the family. He searches everywhere, through every room, and even down in the basement. But the furnace ends up scaring him, so he runs out to step outside and goes to the garage and sees that the garage is still open and that the cars are still there. So they didn't go to the airport. It goes back to the kitchen to think, and he realizes, I made my family disappear.
So first of all, every single room that you see in this house is full of wallpaper. I would never have had wallpaper in this house like this. Second thing is when you seen Kevin walk outside, he had massive high water pajamas. You seen his ankles and everything.
I think we're going to have a part 2 on this goddamn podcast.
I've already skipped a couple of the hindsights because you just like
because they are
Speedy
useless.
Gonzalez over
You're
here.
talking about a goddamn, they got one knife in the kitchen. I noticed that.
It was something that I seen.
I would not have one knife in my kitchen.
No,
We got one knife up in the kitchen.
Well, he realizes, I made my family disappear. And then he remembers what everybody said to him, that he was a completely helpless, laissez compétent. Kevin, I'm going to feed you to my tarantula. Kevin, you're such a disease. There are 15 people in this house, and you're the only one that has to make trouble. Look what you did, you little jerk. And then he says, I made my family disappear, with a smile on his face. This time. And then there's a little montage of Kevin having fun all throughout the house, jumping on the bed, eating all kind of snacks, just having an amazing time for a kid. He ends up going to Buzz's room, digging through all of his stuff, and he finds this huge chest that Buzz, I guess, keeps in his little personal things in.
Which seems stupid. I would have made sure that was locked.
He even yells out, "Hey, Buzz, I'm going through your stuff, your personal stuff. You better come out and pound me." And he finds firecrackers, and he says, "Hey, Buzz, I found a picture of your girlfriend." Woof.
Well, did you see the first thing that he took out was a Playboy magazine? Like, that's why I was like, I would have made sure that shit was locked.
Well, he look at Buzz's BB gun, and he sets up a bunch of little sports figures on the laundry chute in the kitchen, and he takes aim, propping the door open with a spatula, and we see he's a great shot.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss a single one.
Not at all. So I'm curious if this is the first time that he's ever shot one.
Even nailing the spatula to close the door. I think he's a genius. He's just a kid genius.
What a genius. Just first time.
Bro, he got on top of that thing. Look at that gun. He saw algorithmic geometric shapes in his face and numbers and equations, and he was like, pew, 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 pew. Just nailed them all. Yeah.
How else can you come up with what's going to happen later in the movie? If you're not some type of...
Well, if he is messing with stuff in the garage,
what are you angry for?
Tinkering with the fishing lures and stuff, like, I don't feel like a normal 8-year-old would do that.
That's because he's a genius.
So you might be.
Well, we see him making up this huge mess, and he creates this huge, nasty mess in the kitchen before he watches Angels with Filthy Souls.
I feel like this
It's a black and white gangster movie.
Are super rich. I would think that they would have a bigger TV than that.
There's these old TVs that used to cost $1,000 that was heavy as all get out.
Quit playing. And when they get old, they get brittle. This guy in a top coat knocks on this office door, and another guy says, "Who is it?" It's a guy named Snakes. And Snakes says, "I got the stuff." And a guy named Johnny says, "Leave it at the door and get the hell out of here." And Johnny says, "What about my money?"
What money?
And then Snake says, "AC says you got something for me." Johnny says, "Well, how much do I owe you?" AC says 10%. And Johnny says, "That's too bad. AC ain't in charge no more." And Snake says, "What do you mean?" And Kevin, who's watching the movie, says, "Guys, I'm eating rubbish and watching..." Oh, damn, I did it backwards. Eating junk food and watching rubbish. You better come out and stop me.
Rubbish. Is that a word in the 90s? I feel like...
It's a word.
It's a word.
A rubbish. Rubbish. Who says rubbish?
Bird is a word.
Is that English?
British people say rubbish all the time.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Get this rubbish out of here.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's saying it.
Johnny says he'll call you when he gets out. And he says, "Hey, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your lousy, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead." Snake says, "All right, Johnny. All right, I'm sorry. I'm going. 1, 2, 10. And then he unloads the Tommy gun right into him while he's laughing. And Kevin starts to cover up his eyes. It seems like it's a little too much for a little kid to watch, I guess. And then Johnny says, "And keep the change, you filthy animal."
Shot him a couple more times.
Then Kevin pauses the movie and says, "Mom!" A little echo there, which then we see Kate on the airplane. That's when she wakes up on the plane and starts to check her wallet. And then she says, Mr. McAllister, Peter says, what's the matter? And she says, "I just had this terrible feeling like, we didn't do something." And Peter says, you just feel like that because we left in such a hurry. And she says, "No. Did you turn off the coffee?" He said,
Did I turn the coffee off?
And he says, "No, I did." And she says, "Did you lock up?" He said, "Yeah." She says, "Did you close the garage?" And he says, "That's it.
That's it.
I forgot to close the garage. That's it." And it kind of puts her at ease for a little bit. And she says, "No, that's not it." Peter says, "Well, what else can it be?" And she sits up and says, "Kevin!" She realized she left Kevin at the damn house.
I wonder how long it would take him for the dad to realize that the kid wasn't there.
He leaves it to her to keep up with the kids. That's when you come and me talking about where's Grace, and I'm like, "Oh, damn, he must really be lost now. You don't know where he is." Don't come to me. And then
Wait, I got a kid.
Oh man, that's what I'd be like.
That is for true though.
That's when we see Kevin in the house in his winter gear, jacket, pants, and hat.
This
and
was
he's
not a work.
lining up the sled up on top of the stairs.
This would not work.
He gets onto the edge of the steps on the sled and teeters himself over the edge to where he goes flying down the steps and right out the front door. And which the door's already open. He goes flying off the front porch down to the steps in the front yard, and it looked like he had a lot of fun there.
So if you would have seen, because it kind of flashes when he's at the very top and you look down, he was at the far left of the stairs. But if you look down the stairs straight, he would have ran into the wall, because like he would have had an angle to the left, and the banister was right there. There was no way he would have been able to made it down the stairs.
Okay? He had two strings up front. Okay? If he pulls left, he's going left. If he pulls right, he's going right. He's steering that thing.
Nope.
Koala, okay?
Nope, because the banister was right there.
Yep, banister. He can turn left and go around it.
Yeah, what you guys see now?
No, it would have hit the side and stopped.
Back on the plane, the stewardess tells the McAllisters that the captain's doing all he can, and Frank's saying horrible, just horrible, and she's asking like, how could we do this? We forgot him. And Peter says, we didn't. We just miscounted. And she says, what kind of mother am I? Frank says, if it makes you feel any better, I forgot my reading glasses.
He was so serious
and
about
they
that.
all look at him.
But my question is, when the stewardess came back and said that the pilot's doing everything, did they just tell the stewardess that, hey, we got an emergency, we left our kid at home? Like, did they just bluntly say it?
What the fuck you doing now? We 30,000 feet now, bitch. Sorry.
We then see two guys sitting in a van talking about all the houses on the block. And one of the guys starts telling him that all the houses have timers on them. So he knows when the lights will be on. And so he starts telling out different addresses and telling you exactly when the lights will cut on.
I will say, they did it very smart. I think this is the only smart thing that they did the whole entire movie. Going in as a police officer, seeing exactly who is gone, how long, what security they have, etc., etc., etc.
And very that's smart. When he says 671. And that's the one, Marv. That's the silver tuna. And Marv says it's got a lot of top-like goods. Stereos, VCRs, toys. Probably looking at some very fine jewelry. Possibly cash hoard. Old marketable securities. Who knows? It's a gym. Grab your coat and crowbar. And they toast their crowbars. But while on the inside, we see Kevin watching a classic Dr. Seuss's Grinch. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Still tons of junk food around him. How is this kid's stomach not hurting?
Yep, and he had fallen asleep on the couch in front of the TV, and that's when the van pulls up outside. When they close the door, it makes a loud noise, and that's when Kevin hears it and wakes up.
See, this is where they start getting stupid, because they didn't park in the back. They park on the side where it's very noticeable. Also, they had to walk all the way around from the side to the backyard to get to the back door. I would have parked all the way like further up in the driveway to get as close as possible to get the door so they could just automatically put the items in the van.
I'll handle this. Okay. So they're in the van, okay? Painted van. They could have hired a plumber, an electrician. We don't know. Of course they're going to park up front because it's less suspicious.
Yeah, and everybody's gone
Grizzly's
on the block.
Voice of reason.
Everybody's gone on the block on vacation, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
No, the old man that lives right next door ain't gone.
He's a murderer. He sees the silhouette of the two burglars walking around the house, and they're going to the basement as their plan. That's when Kevin runs down there and turns all the lights on. And Marv and Harry, who are the two burglars here, he says to Harry, I thought you said they were gone. And Harry says they're supposed to leave this morning. So they get out of there. While Kevin had to run up and hide under the bed upstairs. He hears the van pull away. Meanwhile, the family has made it to France and they're running to the airport again, but this time they're running to get to the phone so they can call back home. And they run into this French lady who's having the phone and they really need it, and so they end up they take the phone away from the French lady, which was kind of very rude, you know. But then she gives a address book to one of her daughters and says, call everyone you know, and gives another address book to Leslie and tells her, what'd she tell her? All right, then.
I I call everybody that too. But my thing is, they're first class. There was 4 people in first class and 10 other kids in there. I would feel like just them being first class and they know that they have a family emergency at home. I feel like they would have
like a woman.
I feel like they would have like.
Let me cut you off before I lose my thing, because I'm sure this thought is just probably just past retarded. Let me tell you. She gives Leslie this address book and she says, "You and Frank call everybody who lives on Summer Street." That's what I was trying to get to. And she realizes that a Frenchman was on the phone, and then she's like, hello, she'll call you back. And then she hangs up on him and proceeds to call the police. Now, what were you saying?
I would feel like that with them being 4 first class and all them kids in the bag, I feel like, and they know that it's a family emergency, I feel like they would have already had them at the you know, where when you board at the gate, there's like a desk, computers, phones and stuff. Like, I feel like they would have automatically let them use that phone and just go from there. Like, I feel like there's a special circumstance.
Back at home, Kevin is still on the bed and says, "This is ridiculous. Only a wimp like this will hide under the bed. I'm the man of the house." So he gets up, he goes outside to look around, and he says, "Hey, I'm not afraid anymore. I said I'm not afraid anymore. You hear me? I'm not afraid." And that's when the old salt guy from earlier shows up in front of him, and he looks at him, he screams and runs back inside, runs back upstairs, this time on the bed and under the covers.
The old man just stared at him. Why didn't he say something?
Scary?
Yeah, like, stop being so scary. He knows about the rumors, so why are you just being weird?
Yeah, you know. We then see Kate get a hold of the police department, and she's explaining the situation, that her son's long and lost or left at home alone. And the lady says, "Let me connect you to family crisis intervention."
I feel like she's not explaining very well to the police.
So she transfers her over to Larry, and he's just reading the script, and she explains again that, "I'm calling from Paris. My son's home alone," and he says, "Has the child been involved in a violent altercation with a drunken or mentally ill family member?" And she says, "No." "Has the child been involved in a household accident?" She says, I don't know. I hope not." "Has the child ingested any poisons or any object that may be lodged in his throat?" And she said, "No, he's just home alone. And I would like somebody to go over there to the house and see if he's all right, just to check on him." And he says, You want us to go to your house just to check on him?" And she says, "Yes." He says, "Let me connect you back to the police department." And he transfers her back to Rose, and she's
banging the phone.
Understandably getting frustrated. The kids didn't have any luck calling anybody, and Leslie says there's nothing but a bunch of answer machines. I guess everyone's out of town, like I said. So she kind of gets upset now, and she says, "I'm calling from Paris. I have a son who's home alone." And the officer says, Okay, we'll send the police over to check on your son." And that's when we see Kevin slowly coming from under the covers again when he hears knocking on the door. And it's the police officer. He's knocking on the door, trying to check in the windows, and Kevin doesn't answer because he thinks it's the salt killer. Well, the officer just radios back on his walkie and says, "There's no one home. The house looks secure. Tell them to count their kids again."
So as a police officer, when knocking on the door, I would have said, "Hey, police officer here. Kevin, I'm here. Like, mama called. Like, I'm here to help. Like, you in there?"
That'd be the voice of reason on this one. He already can't trust a cop because that same cop was trying to invade his house.
That is true.
Yeah.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together on that one.
And then we see old Peter McAllister saying there's no way they can bump somebody, for us to get this plane. And the lady at the counter's like, "I can't do that." And so you can't tell them it's like an emergency or something. And then that's when the wife shows up, and she says, "There's nothing in Chicago, nothing in New York, Nashville, you name it. Everything's gone." And then the lady says, "I'm very sorry." And she says,
"Private plane." Kate
was asking, "Is there about a private plane?" She's like, "Yeah, we don't do that. They won't have and then Peter says they won't have a flight until Friday morning. That's 2 days away." And Peter says, "Look, honey, the kids are exhausted. You're exhausted. There's actually nothing more we can do. So let's go over to Rob's, call the police again, and they can get back to us." She says, "Kevin is home all by himself. I'm not leaving here unless I'm on an airplane. And the student says, Stewardess, yeah, says, we're doing everything we can. If you want to stay at the airport, maybe we can get you a flight on standby. It is a possibility that they will seat you and find you an open seat. And Peter says, oh, that's okay. She says, yes, I'll wait. So they leave the mom and at the airport, and the rest of the family goes to Rob's.
I might have a very unpopular opinion on this, but obviously the mom and dad are going to try and get back their kids. But as the other two adults in the party, I think I'd be mad as hell that somebody else is disrupting the... I mean, obviously it's a family emergency. Like, they didn't do it on purpose. And I'd be very sympathetic and stay and help. But I would not be flying back with them. I'd be staying and enjoying Paris. Unpopular opinion, probably.
Wow. I think most people say, what a cunt. Jeez.
Hey, I would help.
They're paying for the vacation.
No, they're not. Kate and Peter's not paying. Rob is.
You think Frank paid for any of this?
No.
Exactly.
And I would say
you're in Frank's spot. Yeah,
yes.
You're not even paying for the vacation. You didn't pay for the flight. You didn't pay for none of this.
That's fine. I'd be staying and enjoying Paris.
That is crazy.
You would go fly back.
I didn't pay for. I'm not losing anything on this. I'm not.
Enjoyment.
So I would be helping out whoever it is who had paid for me to go all the way over there and enjoy this with
Peter and Kate did not pay for it. The other brother did. So like they didn't pay for it. You saying
so
that you
went back to get their fucking kid.
Okay, go back then. I would stay and enjoy Paris. This is a once in a lifetime. This motherfucker obviously has not gone on vacations. He should enjoy his time in Paris. Because he's probably never going to be able to do it again.
Koala's true colors right now.
Get the hell out of here. I would be helping.
Peter says to Kate, don't get lost too, okay? And she's going to wait at the airport, and I'm just so sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
I get this. Oh. Let me put it in terms he might understand.
He understands. He just...
No, it's because it's Paris, and no dude cares for Paris.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Tokyo.
It's not a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This is an emergency that happened.
This is?
Obviously, Rob's fucking rich if he flies his whole family out there.
And obviously hasn't done it before.
He would understand that this is an emergency, and like we'll have to, reschedule. No problem.
And that's fine for Frank to stay there.
Free trip to Tokyo. You coming back
the day of? You've just flown. How far away is it? 13 hours, 20 hours. Just flown that fucking far. Within that trip, that flight, someone's like, I left my kid alone. You best believe you gonna be getting annoyed. You best believe you're gonna be getting annoyed. Yeah, the wife left him. Why are you giving me that look?
Someone. This is all family members. If Zay left his kid at home alone, he's worried about him. I'm sticking with him. I'm going with him.
The whole entire time. No, he would not. No, he would not.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, Zay, yeah, go find your fucking kid. Who knows if he's dead or alive? Good luck, buddy. Get the fuck out of here.
No, you would be helpful at the beginning, but then you're like, they're so irresponsible. Blah, blah, blah,
I'd
blah.
tell him that for sure. He'd hear about it all the way flight back, but I'm going with him. What kind of bullshit?
I say,
there's no loss.
I think I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying my hardest to see if there's flights out. If the lady's saying there's no flights out
until Friday,
and I believe there's no flights out, I'm gonna stay till there's flights out.
Next available flight. You got to get your kid.
It's just 2 days.
No, there could be one that opens up.
Okay,
that's why she's staying at the airport.
Yeah. Then you stay. I'm gonna go to the hotel, and if something happens, you call me, and I come on my way.
Okay, well I'm a bitch then.
Oh yeah.
We've already established that.
You best believe I'm enjoying Paris.
The McAllister house, Kevin's getting out of the shower, talking about how his hygiene went and how clean he is. While he's combing his hair in the mirror, he sprays a little spray of deodorant on, and he takes some aftershave and slaps it on his face and starts to scream.
Would that even hurt? There's no razor bumps. There's no cuts, scrapes.
Did he actually shave, or did he just...
No, he just put it on.
That's stupid then.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just some burning ass shit he put on his face.
It's brute for man.
He goes through Buzz's room again, and he sees a little baseball card like tin box up top on the top shelf. And he climbs up there this is where the tarantula cage is kept as well. But he climbs up each step one by one until he almost gets to the top. And that's when one of the shelves breaks, and all of them break.
All of them. Like he's the heaviest kid in the fucking...
Comes crashing down. But he was able to get the tin shelf, which the tin case, which had Buzz's life savings in it.
So I'm thinking Buzz is not that tall. Like, he's not that tall to reach up to the very top because it's
gets out
close to the ceiling. So I'm assuming he's got a stool or something in the room. Why did he not use that?
You probably don't know where it is.
Spoil rat.
Well, the tarantula gets out, and we see Kevin go out of the house, out the back, and he's checking the basement again, door around the house, and he's leaving. He sees the van at the Murphy's house, and he says, I thought the Murphys went to the Florida. Well, inside the Murphy's house, we see Harry and Marv going through all their stuff, breaking all their decoration, while Harry's over playing with one of the remote control cars, and a voicemail comes on, and they can hear it, and it's Peter McAllister saying that they're in Paris at his brother's apartment. Marv says, "Hey, Harry, that house we were at the McAllisters?" Harry says, "Yeah, you were right. They're gone." Harry says, "I knew they were." And Marv says, "Silver tuna tonight." And Harry looks through a kaleidoscope. And that's when the scene changes to the next.
I don't get that part because when they went to the McAllister's house, it was at night. But then when they're doing this house, is in the middle of the day. Like,
everybody's gone.
This doesn't seem smart.
Kevin's at the convenience store, and
do we
asked
get
the lady
to
about the toothbrush. Hey, is this toothbrush?
Yeah,
I guess so. But mine says Kevin's at the convenience store, and the cast restaurant is. How may I help you?
Is
the cashier?
The cashier
at
asked,
the front?
"How can I help
Yeah.
Maybe is what I was trying to say.
And he's like, "Is this toothbrush
approved by the American Dental Association?" And she's like, "I just work here, bro." It doesn't say. And he says, "Could you find out, please?" And so she calls a guy over named Herb about the toothbrush. But that's when the salt man walks in with his big Undertaker boots on.
And bloody hand.
Yeah, and he lays it on the counter there next to him.
Why in the hell would he do that?
And they're still talking about the damn toothbrush question and if it's approved by the Dental Association. And he walks up to the counter, he puts his hand on the counter, just slaps it on there. And
all in Kevin's personal space.
Yeah, he had gotten cut with something, so he's looking pretty scary, even more scary. May have just killed a guy.
Still just staring at Kevin.
Yeah, and Kevin looks at him and he slowly backs away. And the cashier says, "Young man, you got to pay for that toothbrush." And he ends up running out the door. And she says, "Jimmy, stop that boy."
I doubt a toothbrush is going to be breaking the store's banks. So for her to be acting like that, it seems kind of a little ridiculous. But I did miss a part when Harry was using a crowbar in that last house. Why in the hell is he using a crowbar? He just broke everything that he put in the bag.
Well, that's why he keeps trying to break different things so they can spend as much money to fix whatever they steal or break.
Yeah, no, that don't make no sense. I wouldn't have taken decorative stuff. I would have gone straight to the TV, electronics, saves, like actual expensive stuff.
I think they already have that stuff, like in the car. They just like going back just to break.
Oh, just being assholes?
Yeah.
No.
Because whenever you see them getting, this next scene, you'll see stuff in the back of the car.
So one of the younger employees goes out to chase him, but he sees a cop, and he points at Kevin and says, "Shoplifter!" And that's when the cop stops filling out a traffic ticket for someone and tries to chase Kevin.
I feel like a traffic ticket would have been more...
A traffic ticket?
A traffic ticket would have brought in more money for the department than just to catch a
That's
kid.
not how police officers work, okay? They're not on quotas.
Bullshit.
But he runs straight into an ice rink and slides on his knee. Kevin slides on his knees really fast and really far as he had a bunch of momentum that he really didn't have. And the police officer can't keep up and ends up getting hit by another ice skater while Kevin gets up off his knees and runs to the other side of the ice rink.
He's a little chunky police officer. Did you see that the Kevin, when he was sliding, he ended up going perfectly underneath someone's legs, between their legs? That was totally staged.
Nah, it happens. As Kevin's walking home, he's looking at the toothbrush and he says, "I'm a criminal." Things aren't really going his way at this point. It's a little tough on him. But then we see Marv plug in the sinks and turn on the faucets. And he goes back to the van and Harry says, "You did that thing again, didn't you?" And he says, "Yeah."
It's so stupid.
And it's how many times? I tell you, stop doing that. And Marv says, "This is our calling card." He says, "All the great ones leave their mark. We're the wet bandits." And Harry says, "You're sick. You're a sick man." And they kind of go back and forth with one another about how Marv is sick, and Marv says, I'm not sick. And he said, yeah, you are. And they're not paying attention to the driveway that they're pulling out of, and they almost hit Kevin.
I feel like Marv is definitely in the wrong on this one. Like, he should be paying attention, which I mean, obviously Kevin needs to be paying attention too. But the person who's driving, he's in the wrong.
They stop just in time, and Harry yells out the window and says, hey, you gotta watch out for traffic, son. You know? And Marv says, yeah, Santa doesn't visit funeral homes, little buddy. And Harry says, Merry Christmas. And he smiles at Kevin, and Kevin sees that gold tooth.
Wait, hold on. Harry is the one with the gold tooth? I thought Harry was the taller one with the curly hair.
No, that's Marv.
No, that's Marv.
What the fuck? This whole entire... How many times have we watched this damn show?
The
movie. And I straight up think that they're the opposite. I swore Marv was the one with the gold tooth.
Listen, you might have got hit in the head or something with a brick.
Okay, so...
Like in part 2, he got hit in the head with a brick, and he was like, Harry, Harry. He was calling on Harry, he wasn't calling his own name.
I didn't even catch that he was saying the name. Okay, so obviously some of my notes might be a little backwards because I got them like straight up opposite.
We'll just read the opposites. Maybe.
Oopsies.
Well, he sees the gold tooth and remembers that from earlier, and he just looks at Harry, and then he leaves. And Harry says, I don't like the way that kid looked at me. He says, I've seen 100 kids this week. I don't know what
Marv is like, you don't recognize him.
Oh, okay. I guess, yeah. Marv's like, you don't recognize him? Harry says, no. And Marv says, well, let's see where he goes. So he starts to follow Kevin in the van really slowly. Noticeably.
So stupid. But it didn't make sense because Kevin was on the sidewalk. Like, that's where he's supposed to walk. Like, pedestrians are supposed to walk on the sidewalk. So he goes across the street and stays on the street. Just walking in the street.
Well, he wasn't safe on the sidewalk. He almost got hit. So he figured he'd try his chances in the street.
He also does not know how to be a stalker whatsoever.
Kevin stopped and turned back and looks at him, and they start whistling and looking around like just they ain't doing nothing, bro. They're just some lovable idiots. They're sleazy, but they just don't seem too dangerous, even though they are. I think given the chance, they would kill somebody, especially a kid. So Kevin starts taking off running, and he's like, Harry's like, I told you something was up. And they still follow Kevin. And Kevin runs to this huge cathedral-type church where there's a nativity scene out front. He runs past the scene, and we lose sight of him, and Harry and Marv follow him, but they also lose sight of him in front of the church. Marv says, maybe he went inside. And Harry says, yeah, I'm not going in there. Marv says, yeah, me either. Let's get out of here. And back at the nativity scene, we did see that Kevin was hiding in that. He just put a little cloak on. It was one of the characters. Posed as the one of the Bicemen.
He was small enough.
Yeah, he takes it off and runs back home, and he says, when those guys come back, I'll be ready. So later that night, the house is lit up, but it seems like there's a Christmas party going on. When Harry and Marv pull up, they're looking at the house, and they see everything going on. They're like, weren't they supposed to be in Paris?
But it doesn't make sense because, okay, obviously the house is Christmas party going on, but there's no cars in the driveway. There's no cars on the streets. Did all these people just walk there or something?
Maybe they already
could have got a cab.
Well, music's going. There's silhouettes of people in the windows dancing, having fun. But when we get a glimpse on the inside, and we see that it's mannequins that are being pulled like on a puppet system, while there's a cardboard cutout of Michael Jordan that's on top of a toy train set that's running throughout the house. And one mannequin figure is on top of a record player, a turntable that's turning in front of a window as if it's dancing.
Rocking around Christmas tree.
Marv and Harry decide, let's get out of here before somebody sees them. And Kevin's little trick worked. Meanwhile...
Yeah, but Kevin almost got caught because he opened the curtain. I would have not opened the curtain because you straight up seen the mannequin and all the tricks.
Back in Paris, the family, I don't know, they're watching some kind of French programming on TV. They're all looking bored, and Frank comes in with some kind of shrimp. And this lady says, Frank, those are for later, Frank. But he still hands them out.
Yeah, just douchebag move. Like, she is the lady of the house, and she's telling somebody, hey, those food's supposed to be for later. Like, she got a plan. Like, you need to listen to the person's plan. Yeah, and the husband right next to her ain't standing up for her.
Well, read the room. Okay, everybody is dying in here. Frank is livening it up. Then we see Peter McAllister asking if, on the phone, if you speak English, talking to someone on there, and he's trying to speak French a little bit. But he ends up giving up, and he's like, I'm looking for my son. Do you know where he is?
Why didn't he get the person, the brother that lives in Paris? I would assume he would know French.
Yeah, possibly. Como table too?
Yeah, why didn't he just get him to speak?
He tells Frank that everyone's gone shopping. Nobody's home for the holidays. That's when Buzz and the siblings start talking. And we're here, rotting in this French place, and Kevin's at home all by himself. And she says, you're not worried about him? And Buzz says, why would I be? He's acting like a jerk one too many times. And she says, don't you think he's flipped out? Buzz says he's a little trout, and he can use a couple of days in the real world. And she says, you're not worried about him at all. He says, no, for 3 reasons. A, I'm not that lucky. 2, we have smoke detectors. And D, we live in the most boring street in the United States of America, where nothing even remotely dangerous will ever happen. Period. We then see the pizza delivery guy
hitting the statue.
The same one.
Bam.
3rd time hitting that statue
Pulling up
just
to
in
the
this
house.
movie.
Well, he picks it up. Takes the pizza to the front door where he sees a note that says, back door, please. And so he runs around the back door where he knocks on it. And that's when Kevin plays a little bit of the movie from earlier where Johnny is using the language that he used talking to snakes, but instead he's using it to talk to the pizza delivery driver. He said, who is it? And the name's the pizza guy. And he says, drop it on the front door and get out of here. And the pizza guy says, what about the money? And Kevin is playing the movie perfectly, pausing it and fast forwarding it right to where it needs to be to respond perfectly to the pizza guy. So the guy on the film is like, so how much do I owe you? And the pizza guy's like, $11.80. So Kevin throws $12 out the doggy door and presses play. And he says, keep the change, you filthy animal. And the pizza guy's like, cheapskate. And that's when the guy says, I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get you ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead. 1, 2, 10. And he starts shooting, and the pizza guy falls over the trash cans, and then runs to his car and gets the crap out of there. Pretty funny moment.
Okay, so I got a 2 for hindsight right here. First of all, I would have not have played the movie video and just did the shooting noise because the delivery boy could have called the police. I would have just did a deep voice of like, how much do I owe you, and put the money through the dog door. The twofer of the hindsight is, as the delivery boy, you heard somebody shoot, even though obviously it's fake. You heard somebody shoot, so he should have called the police and gotten that figured out.
If you're a little kid, you can't do no deep voice. Ain't nobody gonna believe that crap.
He's a kid. He probably plays imaginary friends or whatever. He probably fakes voices all the time.
You think a little kid would be mistaken for an adult?
It's possible. There's some adults that have high, and he could have acted like a little, or like a woman. If he's got a not deep voice, he could have acted like a woman.
He would only have fooled you. Okay.
That kid don't care if it's a kid paying for the pizza or if it's a grown adult.
Listen, I'd like to try this pizza though. Little Nero's pizza. It looks amazing. Kevin opens the door and picks up the pizza and says, a lovely cheese pizza just for me. Well, back at the airport, Kate is still trying to get a flight to Chicago, and she's talking to these older couple. She's offering them watches, pocket translators, $500. She's giving them anything and everything she can just to get on a plane to get closer to Chicago. And the wife, she's the old lady, she's really kind of trying to go for it. She's listening.
She's feeling it.
Then the old man's like, we gotta go. And she's like, but she has earrings. Oh, she has plenty of those. And then that's when she says, please.
Mother to mother.
Yeah. And they end up saying, okay, we'll take your deal. We'll take a later flight.
They're old. They're probably in retirement. They can wait a couple more days.
Yeah.
No, they ain't got much time left.
It's Paris. They can enjoy 2 more days.
Back at home, Kevin is preparing for bed. He pulls a picture frame from out from under the pillow, and he's kind of regretting his wish now. And he says, if you come back, he won't be a pain in the butt again. He promises. So
I think that they should have chose the kid actors a bit better, or made a declaration. No, listen out.
Shut up.
Listen. Made a declaration that they were adopted kids, because these kids, it was 2 girls and 3 boys. None of them look like the parents at all. They don't even look near each other, like nothing. So are they just adopted kids?
White people look alike to me.
I was gonna say you said it, baby.
Get the hell out of here. They do not all look alike. None of them have the same head shape. None of them have the same eye color. Nothing. Don't even have the same hair color.
This is a movie, Sam.
Well, then we see Kevin adjusting to life, by himself. He's getting used to doing things on his own. He's doing a little lip singing in the mirror, and then he still puts that same damn aftershave on his face and gives that scream again.
Yeah, iconic scream.
Yeah, iconic. The whole symbol for this movie right there, that was that. Like we said earlier, the aftershave shouldn't burn. He don't have any cuts on his face or anything.
It's just liquid.
Hey, I remember.
Maybe it was a different brand or something.
Shaving my head for the first time and putting that damn aftershave on.
Felt like Sweet Tooth, didn't you?
Boy, I was like, I know what the hell Kevin felt in that damn movie, bro.
We also see the tarantula still crawling around the house by itself.
Would that tarantula be fine? Getting crashed? Are they pretty sturdy creatures?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I know if he can just find some crickets or something to eat, then he'll be fine.
Okay.
Then he goes grocery shopping, and he's doing his own shopping. He gets to the cash register, and she's like, where's your mom? And she's like, oh. And she's in the car. And he's a smart kid, and he's already thought about these answers before, and he's like, you think I'd be shopping by myself? But she wants to know so much about him. She has so many questions.
Way too many questions.
And he's figuring out these ways to work around them so that they're not suspicious and have to call somebody to take them away or something. And she says, where do you live? And he says, I can't tell you that. Why not? Because you're a stranger.
Right. But I mean, also, Sally's asking too many questions. If she was that concerned about it, then just take it to the higher ups. She's just a cash register lady. It's not her job to do all that.
She seems like an older person too. I don't know, but whenever I was a cashier, I didn't give a fuck about who came through my
exactly,
aisle, bro.
You getting
as long as
a
you got the money to pay for it, I don't care.
Which I did notice that it was $1.14 for a half a gallon of milk. But he paid $19.83 for all that groceries, which included a thing of this detergent. That crap would be close to $40 just nowadays.
Well, he's having a little bit of bad luck as he's on the way home and both of his grocery bags just burst. We see him doing laundry in the basement, and the furnace starts to act up again. He just looks at it and says, "Shut up," and it shuts off. So I wonder if this is a point in the movie where we're seeing Kevin grow up. He's getting a little more mature. He's not so scared like a child anymore. And we're seeing that. Well, next we see the wet bandits sitting outside of the McAllister home, kind of confused as to why it's so quiet when last night the place was...
hopping.
Yeah, it was hopping. And Harry tells Marv to get out and go check it out. And he goes. Kevin notices him in the back door jiggling a knob. So he immediately turns on the same movie again. This time...
No.
He plays it.
His stupid ass tries to put his foot through the doggy door, and his shoe fell off.
And he said, "Shit."
He did say it. He did say it. I seen that on the subtitles.
And while Snakes is talking to the gangster leader, Kevin's getting fireworks out on a pot. And at the time of the shooting in the movie, Kevin lights up the fireworks, so it sounds like real guns. And Marv is listening to all of this. And when the fireworks go off, he thinks it's gunshots, so he takes off running, falls over the trash can, just like the pizza guy. And Marv gets back to the van. He's like, Harry's like, "What happened?" And he says, "Somebody got just blown away. There were two people arguing." And then Marv says, "It was someone named Snakes. You know anybody?" And then Harry's like, Snakes. No, I don't know any snakes." And then he's like, "Harry, let's get out of here." And Harry says, "Well, let's wait and see who comes out." And Harry said he supposed the cops started wondering, and we...
you forgot his accent. You've been doing so good with the accent.
Well, Marv's like, "We gotta get out of here." Harry says, No. Suppose the cops start wondering about who's been doing the jobs in the area. Wouldn't it be nice to have a face to go with who we're looking for? Well, we go back to the airport.
Well, hold on, pause. If I was Harry and Marv, I would have just left that house alone. They have how many houses on that street that they're going to sell? They're going to be making bank. I get this is like the gold of the houses, but I would just left that house alone.
This is the silver tuna.
That's right. Tuna.
They could have easily made so much money on the other stuff.
Well, Kate has made it to another airport, but she can't get another flight out to Chicago soon enough. So the guy at the front desk is doing that whole, we're doing the buzzer can.
I feel like also maybe she's just not explaining herself very well.
Yeah, he's trying to brush her. He's trying to brush her to the side, but she ain't going.
No, she's definitely throwing massive attitude,
She gets in his face. She says she's been awake for almost 60 hours. She's tired, she's dirty, and she's been from Chicago to Paris to Dallas to where are we at now? Scranton. She says she's trying to get home to her 8-year-old son, and then she's causing a scene when this guy in this yellow jacket comes on over. He's like, maybe I can help you. Let me introduce myself. I'm Gus Polinski, the polka king of the Midwest, and it's John Candy. He's playing Gus Polinski here, but John Candy, Uncle Buck. But he says that their flight got canceled, so they got to drive to Milwaukee. He said that they can drop her off on the way there.
Well, also, he...
Polka.
Yeah, it took like 5 minutes for him to get to the point. Yes, it took him so long to get to the point.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. This reminds me of my wife sometimes. She'll sit there and she'll go off on tangents about stuff that don't matter. Sounds like a little like Koala right here, but I mean, it's even worse because then she'll be like, I was talking to my friend Tim, and first off, Tim was wearing these khakis with a red hat, and a red shirt, and pants. Anyway, we were talking at work. I'm like, what does his outfit got to do with anything?
Bro, you ain't got nothing on this one over here. Let me tell you, bro. She'll talk about old Randy and then the red shirt. And then she'll be like, yeah, it's a polo. You know the symbol with the horse on there? You remember we went riding horses? We went riding horses with old Laura over there. And Laura looked at us. That was a pretty fun time. I felt kind of dangerous, kind of scared that. Where am I? Yeah, just stop, bro. You don't know where she is.
I be completely forgetting my words and where I'm at.
Bro, I get mad. I'm like, man, just tell me what happened.
And I'm like, I gotta set the scene. You gotta set the scene. You gotta know the backstory.
Man, we need a beginning, middle, and no tangents. Don't care what they.
That is.
She was trying to tell me one of her friends' addresses and where she lives. I was like, why? Am I going over there? Like, what is this? You just. All right.
Well, the next morning, the kid comes outside and doesn't notice that Harry and Marv are still sitting in the van casing the house. And they see him cutting down a tree. And Harry says, I think we've been scammed by a kindergartner. And so Kevin goes inside, starts setting up this little tree that he just cut down. And Harry goes to the window and sees him. But Kevin sees Harry through the reflection of the Christmas ornament. And he tries to play it off real quick and says, Dad, you want to come help me? And that's when Harry tells Marv he thinks he's all alone. And it's the same kid they've been seeing from the other day. So they go out around the back and Marv's like, you want to come back tonight? And Harry says, yeah. Ever since I've seen this house, I've wanted it. This is the one. So Kevin hears them saying this and closes his window upstairs.
So he said that this is the same kid that you seen the other day. It was only supposed to be 2 days. So would that be considered the other day? I feel like the other day would be like days ago. I guess I'm nitpicking on there. But then also, what the hell is Marv and Harry going to do with Kevin when they even get in there and steal stuff? Like, do they plan on going in there masked, tie him up, kill him, like scare him? What the fuck is their plan? They already know someone is in there who is capable of calling 911. Does not seem smart at all.
Well, we then see Kate riding in the polka van.
Polka.
Riding with a polka band.
They're just in a budget moving car.
They're playing music in the back all the way to Chicago. Seems like she's having a good time.
No, not at all. She's very uncomfortable, especially when he gives her his instrument and she's like, do you want to play? Do you want to play?
The freaking clarinet. The clarinet got spit all up in it.
Yeah, don't even know this person. He might be
smiling. She's accepting the generosity. She doesn't have a nasty face on or anything. She's doing good.
Nope, uncomfortable smile.
Well, later that night, Kevin is seen walking to a little Santa's village looking for Santa Claus. He runs into one of his elves and she tells him he's over there getting into his car. So he runs up to Santa, who is smoking, and Santa throws his cigarette out and he's like, can I help you for a little bit? And Santa's like, come on, yeah, make it quick, kid. And Kevin says, I know you're not the real Santa. Santa says, What makes you say that? Just out of curiosity. And he notices his beard wasn't up. So he puts it in the position where it's supposed to be, a little fake beard. And Kevin says, I know you work for the real Santa. I'm Kevin McAllister, 671 Lincoln Boulevard. And he says, this is extremely important. Would you please tell him that instead of presents this year, I just want my family back. No toys, nothing. But Peter, Kate, Buzz, Megan, Lenny, and Jeff. And my aunt cousins. And if he has time, Uncle Frank.
He really don't like Uncle Frank.
And Santa says, okay, I'll see what I can do. Kevin says, thanks. And Santa says, wait, hold on a second. My elf took the last of the candy canes. Can't let you go home without nothing. Oh no, he took the candy canes home to her boyfriend, is what he said. And so he says, I gotta give you something. And he smacks out 2 little Tic Tacs in Kevin's hand. He says, don't spoil your dinner. Kevin says, I won't. And Santa tries to drive his car off, but it looks like it won't start.
No.
The Santa did not have to do this. This worker did not have to do that. So he definitely did.
I wish.
Like a good deed.
Upon a star.
They would have got the person that auditioned for this part.
Who did that?
I will tell you later.
Oh. Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
I mean, his car, the lights turned on. Oh, it's a Honda.
When you play a character and kids come up to you, you gotta be that character.
You would think so, but I don't know. Some people just believe that it's just a job. And
even if I were to clock out and I'm walking to change out of my suit, Spider-Man, Deadpool, whatever, kid comes up to me, I'm not going to be like, I'm off the clock, get out of here.
Yeah, but you got a kind heart.
There's no way.
Like, some people don't.
Well, on the way home, Kevin stops in front of his house. This house, not his house, but this house who's having this Christmas party of their own. And he sees the family and everyone having a great time. And then he stops by the church where you can hear the choir singing inside. So he goes inside and he has a seat to watch the show, which I'd like to go to one of these.
I mean,
very long.
Is it? I don't know. They have like midnight stuff, don't they?
I don't know about that, but I just know Catholics. I don't know if this is Catholic or not, but their sermons and all their stuff, hours long. I had a wedding that I went to that was Catholic. Good Lord, it was like 2 or 3 hours just for the sermon itself.
He's sitting down in the church and he looks around and he sees the Salt Killer, or whatever they call him. And he gets up and he looks back, and then he gets up to approach Kevin and he says, "Merry Christmas. May I sit down?" And Kevin nods, yeah. And he says, "That's my granddaughter up there. She's about your age. Do you know her?" And Kevin says, "No." And he says, "You live next to me, don't you? You can say hello when you see me." Kevin says, "Yeah." He says, "Yeah, you don't have to be afraid. There's a lot of things going around about me,
so
but none of it's true."
He definitely knows that he's got a murderer.
Kevin nods again. He says, "Have you been a good boy this year?" Kevin nods and he says, "So you swear to it?" And Kevin says, "No." He says, "I had a feeling this place is, this is a place to be if you're feeling bad." And Kevin said, "Is it?" He says, "I think so." And Kevin asks, "Are you feeling bad about something?" He says, "No." But Kevin said, "I've been kind of a pain lately. I said some things I shouldn't have, and I really haven't been too good this year. I'm kind of upset about it because I really like my family. Even though sometimes I say I don't. Sometimes I even think I don't. Do you get that?" And he says, "Yeah." How you feel about your family is complicated." And Kevin says, "Especially with an older brother." And we figure out his name is Marley. And Marley says, "Deep down, you always love them. But you can forget that you love them. And you can hurt them. And they can hurt you. And that's not just because you're young. You want to know the real reason that I'm here tonight? I came here because I killed a man and put him in soda."
And they shovel some snow on top of it.
He says, "I came here to hear my granddaughter sing. I can't come here every other night." He says, "You have plans?" And he says, "No, I'm not welcome." Kevin says, You're not welcome in church?" "No, you're always welcome in church. I'm not welcome with my son. Years back, before you and your family moved in, I had an argument with my son." Kevin says, "How old is your son?" And Marley says, "He's grown up. We lost our tempers. I said some things that I said I didn't care to see him anymore, and he said the same. And we haven't spoken to each other since." And Kevin says, "If you miss him, why don't you call him?" And Marley says, "I'm afraid if I call, he won't want to talk to me." And Kevin says, "Well, how do you know?" And Marley says, "I don't. I'm just afraid he won't." And Kevin says, "No offense, but aren't you a little too old to be afraid? And Marley says, you can be a little too old for a lot of things. You're never too old to be afraid. Kevin says, that's true. I've always been afraid of my basement. It's dark, there's weird stuff down there, and it smells funny. That sort of thing. It bothered me for years. And Marley says, well, basements are like that. And Kevin says, then I made myself go down there to do some laundry, and I found out it's not so bad. All this time, I've been worrying about it. But if you turn on the lights, it's no big deal. Marley says, what's your point? Kevin says, my point is, you should call your son. Marley says, well, what if he doesn't want to talk to me? And Kevin says, at least you'll know, and you can stop worrying about it, and you won't have to be afraid anymore. I don't care how mad I was. I'd talk to my dad, especially around the holidays. Marley says, I don't know. And Kevin says, just give it a shot for your granddaughter. Anyways, I'm sure she misses you and the presents. And Marley says, I sent her a check. Kevin says, I wish my grandparents said that they always send me clothes. Last year, I got a sweater with a big bird on it. And Marley says, well, that's nice. Kevin says, not for a guy in the second grade. You can get beat up for that stuff. He said, I got a friend who got nailed because there was a rumor he wore dinosaur pajamas. That sounds terrible.
But kids, what kind of bullying they doing back in the day?
Yeah, make them tough. And Marley says, you better run along home now, where you belong. And think about what I said. And Kevin says, okay. And then Marley says, it was nice talking to you. And Kevin says the same. Kevin says, what about you, Marley? And he says, me? And he says, yeah, you and your son. And Marley says, well, we'll see what happens. Merry Christmas. And Kevin says, Merry Christmas. And then the bell rings as Kevin's leaving. And Kevin starts to run, and as he's running home through the neighborhood, automatic lights on the houses are coming up one by one. All right when he passes them.
So that's what, 6 o'clock? Is that what Harry said at the very beginning? 6 o'clock?
Yeah, he said something like that.
So he has 3 hours.
He was naming the addresses 671 now.
So he has about 3 hours roughly until they come.
Well, gets to his house, locks the doors, and he says, this is my house. I have to defend it. And so we get this cool montage of him setting up all these traps. But did he really have that long to set up all these traps? And he drew this like map and the blueprints of these traps, which looked awesome.
Right, but there's no way.
Have enough time.
No, because if the lights came on about 6, they were going to be there by 9. So he had 3 hours to draw the map, come up with these plans, do all this stuff. I don't think he had time. And then also, he put water on the steps. Even if it's dark and freezing, would 3 hours be enough time to freeze over water on the steps, all of them?
I mean, it's in Chicago, yeah.
Especially if it's hot water. Hot water freezes faster.
What's that?
He there's montages of him getting ready. He's pouring the hot water on the stairs. He's putting micro machines on the floor. He's getting this hot little grill thing, and we see the spider watching all of it.
Wasn't that melted the doorknob?
No, that's brass. Brass holds heat like it.
Oh.
He's putting this tar on the basement steps. He is just
nails.
Yeah, he is setting up some traps. He is preparing for war.
Rope against the treehouse.
Oh, rope a dope.
All I gotta say is I know how long it takes me up to clean up my house. How in the world is he gonna have all this cleaned up before people start getting home?
Well, he ain't worried about that. He's worried about catching some burglars or defending his home. And that's when Harry and Marv pull up outside. Harry says they want to check it out first.
If I was them, I wouldn't even tried to get into this house knowing that a kid is there.
Marv says, so how do you want to go in? And Harry says, we're going to go to the back door. Maybe he'll just let us in. And Marv says, yeah, he's a kid. Kids are stupid. So as Kevin's sitting down and saying a prayer, as he goes, bless this highly nutritious microwave macaroni and cheese dinner and the people who sold it on sale. Amen. He's getting ready to eat, but then the clock rings. It's 9 o'clock. He blows out the candles and runs to the kitchen door. He cocks his little BB gun and says, this is it. Don't get scared now. That's when the Wet Bandits is knocked on the door and says, Merry Christmas, little fella. We know you're in there and that you're all alone.
They have no problems tormenting and torturing a little kid.
Yeah, they're at the back door trying to talk him into opening the door. So Kevin sticks the BB gun through the doggy door, and while they're talking to him, they don't notice because they're just cracking jokes left and right. He aims the BB gun right at Harry's crotch and pulls the trigger. Harry starts jumping and muttering stuff, and Marv is trying to figure out what happened to him. And Harry says, "Get that little..." And when Marv goes back, he sticks his head through the doggy door where Kevin is laying prone with the BB gun aimed right at his head. And he says, "Hello." And he shoots him right in the forehead with the BB gun at point blank range.
That had to have hurt. Which would have hurt worse? The crotch hit with the BB?
Crotch. Crotch.
Ow.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, Harry's down. He's down for the count. I would have went home after that. But Harry gets up and he says, "I'm going around the front. You go down to the basement." So Harry makes his way around to the front steps, but he doesn't notice that they are covered in ice, like black ice, so you wouldn't really notice it. He does get about to the second to last step, and then he just slip and falls right back, right flat on his back at the bottom of the steps. Harry's going down, falling on the steps. Marv is on his way to the basement. He also doesn't realize that there's ice on those steps, and he just slides all the way down on all the way to the bottom. Pretty funny stuff, man. Pretty funny stuff.
Best part of the movie.
Man, this is the best part of the movie. These traps and these fools falling for it. Harry tries to use the rail to get back up the steps, but as soon as he gets to the top step, he does a damn backflip and lands right back on the ground, while Marv's second attempt of getting up and getting into the house is a success. He uses the crowbar to try and pry his way up, help him stand.
When he used the crowbar on the door frame, he was hitting the wrong area.
He couldn't open it with the crowbar. He ends up slipping again, and the crowbar comes down and hits him because he a fool. Hits him right in the head. Harry finally gets up the dang stairs in the front and doesn't notice that the doorknob is scorching hot.
How did he not see that glowing door handle from a distance?
I mean, it might be a Christmas decoration.
No, and then also, did you see how he opened the door? You opened the door. I open it with your finger and your thumb, and you twist it. He put his whole entire hand on it and was just let me just use it with my palm.
Well, I imagine he's going to put some force behind it. He's really going to get this door open. So yeah, he doesn't know that it's scorching hot, and he grabs it. And it starts to burn him. It actually branded his hand, his palm, with the M for McAllister on there. And he crawls back down the stairs and puts his hand in a pile of snow while looking at the M on his hand.
Pretty sure you're not supposed to put a burn in super cold. I think you're supposed to do it in lukewarm.
Well, Kevin celebrates a little bit after that. Meanwhile, in the basement, Marv is trying to make his way up the stairs.
This fool. Once my first shoe would have gone...
Wait. I missed a part. Because Marv gets into the basement and he looks for the light. He finds the light switch and he pulls it, but it's a rope that they have in the laundry chute that leads to an iron that comes flying down and hits Marv right in the head. And then that's when Harry ends up burning his palm on the thing.
So now we're back in...
So now we're back in the basement. And Marv is trying to make his way up the stairs, but there's some kind of adhesive, the tar from earlier, on the steps, to where he's lost both his shoes, both his socks. He's coming out of his last sock now. And then he takes another step to get to the top, where he goes pretty deep on this nail, right into the bottom of his foot. He starts to hold his foot with both hands and scream, which makes him fall all the way back down the damn steps.
This is so stupid, because it's if my first shoe got stuck, I would have just found another way around. Why would you keep going up the stairs knowing you losing your shoes? And then also, do people not look down when they walk?
I think since it's dark in the garage, in the basement, you can't really tell what's going on.
Yeah, he lets out a scream.
Yeah. Their back's gotta be, man. They gotta have trained
Yeah.
with WWE because he's.
Well, Harry's upset and very angry, so he goes to the back door where they originally were, and he just slams his way through. Decides he's going to get into this place. Well,
He did check
tests
the door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he tests the doorknob first so he don't get messed up. So he's learning that these traps are there, and it's going to be a little worse this time though, because he opens the door and with little to no effort, and he activates a flamethrower that starts to roast his head while he screams.
And he stayed there.
He runs out of the back door and finds another pile of snow to stick his head in. And when he emerges from the snow, he has a huge bald spot upon his head.
Huge.
And it is
Burnt.
steaming.
It's burnt. It's bacon burnt.
Yeah, and Marv back downstairs decides he's going to go outside, and he slips. And as soon as he exits the door, or basement door,
Why didn't he just go through the back door? Like, I'm assuming since the scenes are jumping back and forth, I'm assuming they didn't like line up together. But why didn't he just go through the back door?
well, Harry, his head is super sore. He decides to run through the through the back door, knocking down the flamethrower trap, and he says, "Where are you, you little creep?" While Marv is still trying to crawl from the basement steps to outside to go around. He never saw Harry go into the back door. He sees the window from where Kevin was setting up the small tree earlier and says, "Harry, I'm coming in." While Harry's in the house, he hears Kevin say, "Oh no, I'm really scared." And he says, "It's too late for you, kid." Kevin says, "All right, come and get me." And so he goes to the door, and Harry gets hit in the face with some saran wrap and doesn't see that he tripped another tripwire that activated a fan to blow feathers all in his face.
Which, that's not very harmful. That's
Meanwhile,
just annoying.
Marv is coming through the window in his bare feet, and he's looking around the room to see if anybody's in there.
Not looking down.
He doesn't pay attention to what's below and steps right onto some glass ornaments, pressing his feet up more and more. And he says, "I'm going to kill that kid."
And because he has to get up, he's still stepping on some more. But with him stepping on a nail because he didn't look down, why in the hell did he not look down when he was going through the window? Like, I get it, he's got to like check your surroundings, make sure the kid ain't there. But look down first.
Well, the wet bandits finally meet up in the house, and Harry says, "Why the hell did you take your shoes off?" And Marv says, "Why the hell you dressed like a chicken?" And then they hear Kevin say, "I'm up here, morons. Come and get me." So as the wet bandits making it to the front of the steps, they both slip on a bunch of micro machines. And Kevin says, "Are you giving up or are you thirsty for more?" Harry and Marv decides to climb up the stairs, starts to make their way up the steps, but Kevin throws a paint bucket that's tied to a string to the banister down the steps. Harry's able to dodge it, but Marv gets checked right in the face. He falls down the steps. Harry is looking at Marv. Kevin throws another paint bucket and gets Harry in the face, and he falls right on top of Marv. And Marv looks at his teeth and says, "Oh, you're missing a tooth." And Harry says, "It's my gold tooth. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him." Well, Harry says, "You bomb me with one more can, kid. I'm gonna snap off your cojones and boil them in motor oil." Kevin is calling the police, trying to disguise his voice. He tells him about the address and hangs up the phone. And he's making his way across the hall.
So we know the phones are back working.
The wet bandits end up seeing him.
Wait, pause. So we know the phones are back working. Like, why hasn't the family called the house? Out of all the phone calls that they have made, I would have, like, if I was the parents, I would have called the house like every 30 minutes to an hour to see if the phones are back working and leave a message.
You ain't gonna be doing that crap.
If the mother is at the station, then
traveling.
the dad,
she can't call.
Then the dad,
He's
who
already
is
called.
waiting 2 days, should be the one to call every so
30
often.
minutes? Get out of here.
Every so often.
Get out of here.
Obviously, the phone got to working, so he could have called and left a message to Kevin, being like, "Hey, we're trying to get a hold of you. Call this number." Something.
The wet bandits end up seeing him, and Harry trips over the tripwire. Kevin's almost to the attic, but Marv is able to jump over it and grab Kevin by the pants legs. But Kevin sees the tarantula on the step, and he's able to grab the spider and put it right on Marv's face. and he lets out this high-pitched, loudest scream. And he let go of Kevin, and Kevin runs off to the attic, and Marv freaks out and drops the spider on Harry. Up in the attic, Kevin has made a zip line with a bike handle and some rope that leads from the house to the treehouse.
There's no way that he had 3 hours. There's no way that's enough time to set all this stuff up.
Meanwhile, Harry's waking up. He sees Marv, and he says, Marv, what are you doing? And Marv says, don't move. And Harry's like, what are you doing? Marv says, don't move. And he whacks Harry in the stomach with a crowbar, and he keeps asking, where is it? Where is it? And Harry says, never mind. And he takes the crowbar and starts hitting Marv with it. And he says, just get him out there and get the kid. And that's when Kevin jumps out of the house onto the zip line. You can tell it's most definitely not Macaulay Culkin hanging on that zip line. Some kind of stunt double. But he ends up making it to the other treehouse where he crashes through. But he makes it. He looks back and he sees the wet bandits. And Harry says, where'd he go? And Marv says, maybe he committed suicide.
I love the fact that they improv that.
And that's when you see Kevin say, I'm over here, you big horse's ass. You better come get me. I'm going to call the cops.
Is the old man not next door? Like, does he not hear any of this going on?
He's at the church. And Harry
says... For 3 hours?
Wait, that's what he wants us to do. Go back down through his little funhouse full of traps. And Marv says, what are you doing? Going out? Out the window. Harry says, what are you, scared? You afraid? And so both of the wet bandits end up crawling outside of the house onto the zip line. And as they're shimming through the treehouse to the treehouse, Kevin comes up with these big pair of scissor shears, and he decides he's gonna cut that shit open. And he says, hey guys, check this out. And the wet bandits see it, and Harry goes, go back, go back, go back, go back. So they try to climb back, but Kevin cuts the rope, and the wet bandits swing all the way to the brick panel on the side of the house.
I would have just let go of the rope, because it wasn't that big of a distance. I'd rather have just dropped down instead of going and falling into the brick wall.
Both men fall to their backs and look at each other. Kevin makes it down from the treehouse and starts to run through the yard. The wet bandits get up and give chase. Kevin taunts them again, tell him he's going to call the cops, and he runs into the neighbor's house. But here Harry says, wait. He wants us to follow. I got an idea. So Kevin runs back around to the cellar of the neighbor's house and goes to the basement where it's been flooded. He keeps looking back as if the wet bandits are following him, but then he gets up to the cellar door on the inside and the wet bandits are waiting for him. And Harry says, hiya, pal. We outsmarted you this time. And they grab him and they hang him on a door in the kitchen. And Marv says, what are we going to do with him? Harry says exactly what he did to us. I'm going to burn him with a blowtorch. And then we smash his face with an iron. I'm going to slam right into his face with a paint can. But as they're saying this, Marley, the rumored salt killer, is behind them with his snow shovel.
With his trusty shovel.
Which, did he know about this plan? Like, did he and Kevin come up with this plan, or did he just see Kevin run over to that house and he was shoveling?
Yeah, I think yeah.
But I did miss this note when Kevin went into the cellar door that was not locked. There was a lock on that door. So did the people just happen to leave it accidentally unlocked and just kept the lock there, or did Kevin cut it? Like, what happened with that?
I don't know. I mean, do you want to have a history about this lock? Maybe they lost a key and it was like, hey, let's just make it appear locked, and we just don't really lock it because we can't find the fucking key and we don't want to cut that shit. It don't matter.
It's tiny details.
Tiny details that don't matter.
You want me to do this dang podcast, so I'm gonna find the tiny details that nobody freaking notices.
Could you find some that nobody notices that we care about? Thanks. He's about to bite Kevin's fingers off, but that's when Marley cracks Marv in the head with a shovel.
With a shovel.
And Harry turns around, he gets whacked too. And he says, let's get you home. The cops finally show up and they go inside the house to arrest Marv and Harry while Kevin is looking out the window of his house. The cop says, wow, this is great, as they're pulling Marv and Harry out. And he says, nice move, always leaving the water running. Now we know every house you hit. And Harry looks at Marv and shakes his head. But Marv nods his head to one of the cops and says, cop says, you know, we've been looking for you two for a long time. And Marv says, well, you remember, we're the wet bandits. And Harry says, shut up. And then they shove them both into the back of a car. As they're pulling away, Harry looks out the window and sees Kevin in the window smiling and waving at him.
Mean mugging him.
Taunting him. Taunting some really dangerous men. Well,
yeah, he didn't pick that up.
Kevin starts to prepare for Christmas. They set up the presents around the tree, little tree area. He got him a plate of carrots and a glass of milk for Santa. He's in his little robe. And then we see the polka band van. And Kate saying that she's a bad parent. And Gus is telling them, you know, we're talking about bad parents. I mean, we're on the road 48, 49 weeks out of the year. We hardly see our families.
How in the hell is this polka music that popular?
Is popular for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know who listens to it, but polka is...
I don't think I've ever heard polka.
Well, he says, Joe over there, he forgets his kids' names half the time. Ziggy over there, he doesn't even know he has kids. Eddie, let's just hope none of them write a book about him. And Kate says, have you ever gone on vacation, left your child at home? And Gus says, no. I did leave one at a funeral party once. Yeah, it was terrible too. You know, I was all distraught and everything, you know, and the wife and I, we just left that little tyke there in the funeral parlor all day. You know, and we went back at night and we came when we came to our senses, and there he was. Apparently he was there alone all day with a corpse. Yeah, he was okay. 6 or 7 weeks later, you know, he came around, started talking again. But it's okay, you know, they get over it. Kids are resilient like that. And Kate says, maybe we shouldn't talk about this. And he says, oh, well, you brought it up, so I was just trying to cheer you up. And she says, yeah, I'm sorry.
That should make her a little feel better, because I feel like him leaving the family or the funeral home is a little worse.
Well, then Christmas morning. The snow is just falling. It's a beautiful white Christmas morning, and we see Kevin waking up out of bed, wiping his eyes. He goes downstairs and hopes that his parents are there, and he yells out for Mom, but no one's in the house. He thought that maybe since he learned his lesson to be more independent, more mature, that maybe they'll be back, but he's disappointed to find no one. No one came back. So he goes out the front door to look around, and there's nothing. So he closes the door and goes back in. But at that time, that's when the polka van shows up. Kevin goes upstairs to look at the picture frame of his family, and he hears the door open. And Kate says, Kevin! She calls his name, searches the house, and then she sees all that he's done to set up for Christmas. She finds him and smiles and says, Merry Christmas, sweetheart.
When she put her bag down, she also had something in her hand. It was like a red string with a golden bell or bead on it.
Well, he looks at her, and she says, Kevin, I'm so sorry. He smiles and runs to her. Kevin asks, where's everybody else? And Kate says, baby, they couldn't come. They wanted to so much. And that's when the door opens up. Buzz and Jeff and Jenny and all of them.
But not Uncle Frank.
They all come in talking, causing all kind of ruckus and Merry Christmas. Good to see you. And Buzz says, Kev, he says, it's pretty cool that you didn't burn the place down. And he gives him a handshake. Kevin says, thanks, Buzz. And Kate says, how did you guys get here? And Pete says, we took the morning flight, the one you didn't want to wait for. And Kate says, somebody has to find an open stove. We don't have milk here. And Kevin says, I went shopping yesterday. I got some milk, eggs, and fabric softener. And they all look stunned. And Pete says, what a funny guy.
I don't get why the dad would say that. Like, how's that funny?
What else do you do while you're away? And Kevin says, just hung around. The family goes and starts putting all this stuff away, getting ready to celebrate Christmas. And Kevin walks to the windowsill where the dad, Peter, finds a gold tooth. He asks Kate, he says, honey, what is this? And then we see Kevin looking out the window at his neighbor Marley, who I guess called his son. And they come to visit him. And Marley's hugging his granddaughter, and he sees Kevin looking out the window, and he waves at him. And Kevin waves back, kind of a thank you for the talk, because this talk led to him and his family reuniting.
It's good that you see that the old man made up with the son and the daughter-in-law and is able to see the granddaughter. But I do wonder what the tea is. I do wonder what the argument was about. And just like after one phone call, they just come over like nothing happened. So that's pretty interesting. But I would be asking Kevin, what happened? What did he do? Is he okay? Because after that initial encounter of like, are you okay? They just walked away. They just like went and just left him alone and did his own thing. So I'll be asking way more questions.
Yeah, at least go around and check on the house and the basement and the attic,
something.
everywhere.
Well, as Kevin's smiling and seeing the good moment, we hear Bud say, "Kevin, what do you do to my room?" And Kevin takes off running back into the house, somewhere I can only imagine, to set up more traps for Buzz. And then the screen fades to black, and then the words go up on Home Alone. Wow. How about that?
It's childhood right there, son.
All of it wrapped up in one. But let's not dally. Let's give these people some facts that they need to hear about Home Alone.
Extra, extra, hear all about it.
We got the facts.
All right, I guess I'll start this bad boy off with some Home Alone movie facts, okay? This movie was written for Macaulay Culkin. The role of Kevin McAllister was written specifically for Macaulay Culkin by John Hughes, but the director Chris Columbus still auditioned over 100 other kids before confirming Culkin. Grizz?
I got Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern felt indifferent about the movie's potential during the shooting and initially gave over-the-top performances, neither one of them believing that the movie would become massively successful.
Dang.
Koala?
It took several weeks for the director Chris Columbus and his crew to find the McAllister house for Home Alone, according to Entertainment Weekly. Ultimately, they chose a house in Winnetka, Illinois, because they thought it was both warming and menacing. I took some pictures and sent them over to John, and I remember John saying, "This is perfect. This is exactly how I imagined the house to be." Panda?
A real tarantula. The scene where Marv, played by Daniel Stern, has a tarantula on his face was done with a real spider. Stern agreed to do it as long as they could nail the scene in one take. Grizz?
Yeah, he must have been really afraid of spiders. All right, so that scene where you seen him with the bike handle and the rope, it was Macaulay Culkin's stunt double, which was a 30-year-old midget.
What?
Yeah,
Nuh-uh.
He was. He's 30-year-old. At that time, he was 30.
You serious?
Koala.
Damn. In his first acting credit, Culkin's younger brother, Kieran, appeared as Kevin's cousin, Fuller, in Home Alone. The brothers appeared together on screen again in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Panda?
Guinness World Record. Home Alone held the record for the highest grossing live-action comedy for over 25 years, earning $467.7 million worldwide. Grizz?
Dang.
I got director Chris Columbus. Biggest fear as a kid was burglar. Was a burglar, you know, and that's why he wanted to make this movie. Koala.
John Hughes crafted the first draft of the screenplay for Home Alone in just 9 days. The film was written after a family trip to Europe in response to his father's severe traveler's anxiety. Panda?
John Candy's cameo. John Candy filmed all his scenes in one day, improvising most of his lines. He was a close friend of John Hughes and agreed to do the cameo as a favor. Grizz?
After this major success of this movie, Chris Columbus went to
America.
Bigger and better projects like Home Alone 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, Harry Potter, and what's Percy
Jackson?
Percy Jackson.
The lightning hammer rod thing?
Lightning thief.
Thank you.
Which is to say that he does a lot of child actors that grow up to be really successful.
You can pause right there. You cannot pause.
Okay. Which is to say Chris Columbus directs a whole bunch of child actors to become really successful. Koala?
Before Joe Pesci took on the role of Harry, was that the correct Harry?
Yeah.
Okay. In Home Alone, the production team had its eyes on Robert De Niro, but according to Columbus, the actor never seriously considered taking the role. Panda?
Fake movie. The gangster movie Kevin watches, Angels with Filthy Souls, was created specifically for Home Alone. It was inspired by old gangster films, but isn't a real movie.
Dang it.
He's taken
Grizz?
like 3 of mine so far.
Damn it. So the Santa Claus that was in this movie was auditioned by Chris Farley.
Oh.
Who I think would have done an amazing job with his over the top, because he was already over the top. And if Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern were over the top, I think it'd have been a little bit better. Koala.
Kevin's reaction to putting on aftershave is arguably one of the best known scenes of the film, and since it's become one of the most iconic movements in movie history. But Culkin apparently didn't do it the way Columbus told him to. If you put something on your face that burns, most people move their hands right away. So my direction to him was, when you pat your face, move your hands and scream. And I think it was the first take he kept his hands on his cheek, the director told Insider. Panda.
Stunt doubles. Many of the stunts performed by the burglars Harry and Marv were done by stunt doubles. The physical comedy was intense and required professionals to safely execute the falls and hits. Grizz?
This movie is considered the kid version of Die Hard. Both films are about the main protagonists who left their families alone during a dispute, acting alone to fend off thieves committing robbery. Koala?
When Home Alone came out in 1990, CGI wasn't the norm on film sets. And since the movie was already working on a tight budget, the production team had to get creative when it came to special effects. During the scene in which Kevin shoots Marv in the head with a BB gun, the pellet was actually animated. We paid a guy living in his mother's basement in Chicago $600 to hand paint that BB going into Marv's head. So that was an animated effect. A guy with a paintbrush in a basement for 6 frames hand painted a BB. Columbus told Insider. Panda.
Improvised lines. Many of the memorable lines in the movie were improvised. For example, the line, "Keep the change, you filthy animal," was ad-libbed by the actor playing the gangster. Grizz?
The other one was the chicken. Why do you look like a chicken? And then, what's that other one? I can't think of it right now. This is not mine, sorry. You want to feel old? Daniel Stern, who played Marv, is 33 years old in this movie.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When I was a little kid, I was like, damn, he looks super old. Yeah, okay. I'm past that shit now. Koala.
Okay, I'm pretty sure Panda's already touched on 2 of these, but it's going to be a little bit more in depth, so I'm just going to say it. So Kevin uses a black and white movie called Angels with Filthy Souls to aid in his defense plan against the Wet Bandits, and many people, including Seth Rogen and Chris Evans, were shocked when they learned it wasn't a real film. The scene was created specifically for Home Alone. And then I know you mentioned Candy filmed all his scenes, but he didn't get much in return as far as compensation. He actually ended up making less the guy who played the pizza boy. Panda?
Less than what?
He ended up he didn't get much in return in as far as compensation. So he didn't get paid. He got paid less than the guy who acted as the pizza boy.
So the pizza boy got paid less than the guy who acted as the pizza boy?
Oh my God, no, Candy. The guy...
John Candy?
Yes, he got paid less than the guy who played the pizza boy.
Yeah, he did it as a favor.
Okay, well, that was just part of my
You're making it seem like he was complaining about it.
No.
Get out of here.
No. I didn't say he was complaining. You said that, not me.
Real snow. The snow in the movies was real. A snowstorm hit Chicago area just before filming began, providing the perfect winter backdrop. Grizz?
Prosthetics. So, the part of the scene where Joe Pesci had his head set on fire, he was actually there doing it. It wasn't a stunt double. It was just a prosthetic that they set on fire. And till this day, Chris Columbus has that prop on his desk.
That's pretty cool.
That's my last one, Koala.
Okay, well, I'm gonna also add on to Panda's last one. Fake snow can eat away at a budget, so when a snowstorm rolled in on the second day on set, everybody jumped at the chance to film the money shot, where Kevin wakes up on Christmas morning and reunites with his family. To enhance the natural flurries, the crew used potato flakes to make it look as if the snow was blowing around, which was said to be effective, but left them with a whole heap of rotting starch when the snow melted a few days later. Panda.
Budget-friendly, Home Alone was made on a relatively modest budget of $18 million. Despite this, it became a massive box office success. Koala?
So this is a very impressive one in my opinion. Though Culkin, Pesci, and Daniel Stern wasn't responsible for all the falls and hits their characters took throughout the film, their stunt doubles did them for real. They didn't use any special effects tricks, and they weren't any pads built into the ground, so the film crew was under a lot of pressure to get the shots right on the first take. Pesci's stunt double for the film, Troy Brown, said on the docu-series that for his first fall on the icy stairs, he just launched himself as far and as high as he could. The film's wild stunts had a long-lasting impact. Now when someone does a fall where they get a lot of air and they fall on their back, they just call it Home Alone. Panda?
Culkin's paycheck. Macaulay Culkin was paid $100,000 for his role in the first Home Alone movie, but for the sequel, his salary jumped to $4.5 million.
Good grief.
Koala?
In order to get the most authentic performance possible, Joe Pesci did his best to avoid McCulkin on the set that the young actor would indeed be afraid of him, and no one would blame the young actor for being a bit petrified, as he still bears the physical scar from one accidental altercation. In the first Home Alone, they this is what he's saying. In the first Home Alone, they hung me up on a coat hook. And Pesci says, I'm going to bite all your fingers off one at a time. And during one of the rehearsals, he bit me and it broke the skin. Panda?
You bit Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah.
What?
Caused a scar.
What's wrong with that dude?
Well, obviously he was in the moment and bit him too hard.
Soundtrack. The film score was composed by John Williams, who is known for his work on Star Wars, Jurassic Park, and Harry Potter. His music added a magical touch to the movie. Koala?
Daniel Stern had a 4-letter word slip up on the Home Alone, and it wasn't cut out of the film. He utters the word shit when attempting to retrieve his shoe through the doggy door. Look for it at the 55-minute mark, 27 seconds on the DVD. Panda.
Poland loves Home Alone. Mm-hmm. Showings of Home Alone have become a Christmas tradition in Poland, where the film has aired on national television since the early 1990s, and its popularity has only increased. In 2011, more than 5 million people tuned in to watch it, making it the most watched show to air during the season. Koala?
This is a long one. In real life, Harry and Marv may not have survived Kevin's brutal attack in Home Alone. BB gun shots to the forehead and groin, a steamy hot iron and can of paint to the face, a flaming blowtorch to the scalp. The wet bandits endured an awful lot of violence at the hands of a single 8-year-old. So much so that neither one of them should have been walking, let alone conscious, by the end of the night. In 2012, Dr. Ryan St. Clair diagnosed the likely outcome of their injuries for the week. While a read-through of the entire article is well worth your time, here are a few of the highlights. That iron should have caused a blowout fracture, leading to serious disfigurement and debilitating double fission if not repaired properly. And the blowtorch, according to Dr. St. Clair, the skin and bone tissue on Harry's skull will be so damaged and rotted that his skull bone is essentially dying and will likely require a transplant. Panda?
Without Uncle Buck, there'd be no Home Alone. The idea of Home Alone occurred to John Hughes during the making of Uncle Buck, which also starred Macaulay Culkin. Always game to play the precautious one, there's a scene in which Culkin's character interrogates a potential babysitter through a mail slot. In Home Alone, Culkin has a similar confrontation with Daniel Stern, this time via a doggy door. Koala?
So you've already talked about the tarantula on Marv's face, about how he allowed it for one take. But what wasn't real was the blood-curdling scream. In order to not frighten the spider, Stern had to mime the scream and then have the sound dubbed in later. Panda?
Casting Kieran Culkin in Home Alone taught Chris Columbus a very important lesson. Since Home Alone, Columbus, who also wrote the scripts for Gremlins and The Goonies, has gone on to become one of Hollywood's premier family-friendly movie makers as the director of Home Alone 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, and 2 movies in the Harry Potter franchise. But one lesson he learned from Home Alone is that when you agree to work with a kid actor, you're agreeing to work with the kid's family. Quote, I was much younger and I was really too naive to think about the family environment as well, Columbus told The Guardian in 2013. We didn't know that much about the family at the beginning as we were shooting. We learned a little more. The stories are hair-raising. I was casting a kid who truly had a troubled family life. In 1995, Culkin's parents, who were never married, engaged in a very public and nasty legal battle over his fortune. Koala.
Kevin's allegedly scary neighbor who eventually teaches him the importance of family wasn't a character in the original script. He was added at the suggestion of Columbus, who thought the film could do with a stronger dose of sentimentality. I don't think I said that word right. Panda?
Kevin's treehouse in Home Alone was not part of home rental deal. Kevin's backyard treehouse was not originally part of the property. It was constructed specifically for the movie and demolished once filming ended. Koala?
The picture Kevin finds of Buzz's girlfriend was a picture of a boy made up to look like a girl because director Chris Columbus thought it would be too cruel to make fun of a girl like that. The boy that was used in the photo was art director Dan Webster's son. Panda?
Home Alone spawned more than a sequel. While all of the main original cast members reprised their roles for Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, with Columbus again directing a script by Hughes, the success of the original led to a full-on franchise, complete with 4 sequels, 3 video games, 2 board games, a novelization, and other kid-friendly merchandise, including the Talk Boy. Koala?
So we definitely looked on the same page because we got a lot of the same, but this will be my last one. The movie originally had more scenes of the family in Paris, France, but test audience wanted to get back to Kevin. That was my last one. Panda?
I think it might be for me too.
Yeah, I think we definitely was on the same website.
Then let's move on to our final thoughts. I thought Home Alone was a perfect one.
Oh.
I enjoyed it from beginning to end, watching it as a kid and as an adult. I was mostly just looking for the somebody hit their head, start laughing as a kid, type stuff. But as a grown-up, it's just a perfect picture of the 90s, and it creates this home feeling. The Christmas party scenes where everybody's in the house and the house seems so alive. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's filling every room with some activity, some kind of love, some kind of laughter, some fun. They did a great job at painting that picture, what a Christmas party looks like. And then Kevin alone, it was unimaginable, but it was amazing. It was unrealistic for that to happen though. But the traps, the stuff, it was amazing. Tricking 2 idiots who were just really greedy, teaching them a lesson. It was pure entertainment, and it was awesome. The jokes are good. Macaulay Culkin was awesome. I've only noticed like 2 times where I was like, he could have done a little better, but. Yeah, it was just awesome movie. Joe Pesci, Stern, everybody did a great job. It was awesome. It's a perfect one. Grizz, if your wife left you home alone, would you set up traps so when she returns, she'll never leave your home alone again? Or would you say that Home Alone was a good one?
I've already done that before, so. But I say it is the best one. Right below perfect. I think it's up there with one of the, some of the best Christmas movies because it makes you feel so nostalgic. Looking at it as a 35-year-old man, 2 years older than Marv was. Man. No, but the sentimental value in this movie is astonishing. I like the fact that you get to argue with your family and then they're gone and you're like, oh, good. But I missed them halfway through. Yeah, I love that. And then the comedy scenes were it's slapsticky, but it always works, man. Somebody gets hit with an iron. Oh, that's funny. Somebody puts their hand on a doorknob that's scalding hot. Oh, that's great. That's freaking. I laughed from beginning to end growing up. And it's like, I've seen it so much. And it's like, no matter what, if it comes on, I'm going to watch it. But I still say it's not the perfect one for me. It's the best one.
Wow. Well, Koala, I didn't know you felt like this, but we already have the answer to this question. If your cub was left home alone while you were in Paris, would you go see the Eiffel Tower or say that Home Alone was a good one?
Okay, so first of all, I said
You're going to see the Eiffel Tower.
No,
we already know.
First of all, I said if it was somebody else's kid. If it was my own kid, I would totally be doing what Kate's doing. I probably would have gotten a boat to take my ass all the way back over. Yeah, no, but if it was somebody else's kid, yeah, no, I would definitely be going to see some Eiffel Tower. Now, if it's my kid, no. I will say this is a good one. I am not a big fan of child actors being played as main characters in this movie. It was pretty much only a child actor. And I think there were some scenes where he could have done better, but overall he did pretty good. Like, I think he is one of the better child actors out there. I think the Kevin character is a snotty, spoiled, disrespectful brat. But I did think that throughout the film, he did grow as a character. Like, he went to the grocery store, he defended his home. I think Harry and Marv are pretty stupid. The whole leaving the water running, the police now knowing exactly how many houses they hit, kept trying to go to this one house even though they knew the kid was there. I originally was going to say that it was an okay one, just because I'm not a fan of the child actors. But it is something that we do watch every single year, but it's not one that I have to watch every single year like The Grinch. What changed my mind and upped it to a good one is the stunt doubles, which was definitely impressive. The fact that they did all the stunts themselves with no CGI is extremely impressive in my opinion. So I will, just for their work, I will deem Home Alone a good one.
Wow.
He's gonna be like, you a hater.
No. I respect both of your opinions. Even though you've both been sipping on that haterade, okay? All right then. Well, that's all right. That's our review of Home Alone. And now we're going to move on to movie 20 questions. Let the interrogation begin.
Are we sticking
Yep.
with the year?
Yep.
Is this movie made before 2000?
No.
How you want to do that?
Yeah, I already stuck. Let's do...
Well, I already did one question.
Yep. You gotta do 2010.
2010 and up.
Down.
So 2000, is this movie made 2000, 2010?
Yes.
Okay. We'll do like 2005, 2010? Or how do you want to narrow it down?
Yeah.
2005 to 2010.
Yes.
Okay.
To 2008.
To 10?
Mm-hmm.
2008, 2010. Is this movie made between 2008 and 2010? So 2008, 9, or 10?
No. You said was it made between 2000 and 2005?
I said 2000.
No, I said 2005 to 2010, and you said yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's
So is it 2008, 2010?
So I think it's 2000 to 2005. That's what
So
he meant.
did we do it wrong? Well,
No, your answer still yeah to that question.
huh?
Your answer still yeah to that question.
To the 2005, 2010?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I wanted to confirm.
Yeah, so we said 2008 to
8 to
2010,
10.
and you said no.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to make sure you made it seem like we fucked up with the whole 2005,
So
2010
between
part.
2005 and 2007.
Yes.
We gotta get it.
5 and 6?
Yep.
2005 or 2006?
Yes.
Damn. I was hoping it would have been a no, and then it's fucking 2008. Damn, we spent 6 fucking questions.
Yep.
Well, fuck it. Might as well find out now. 2005? Is this a 2005 movie?
Yes.
Okay, damn.
Okay.
Panda had a good idea. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but instead of us going through gazillion actors, try and find, did you say a producer? Is that what your idea was?
No.
What was your idea? A director. Okay. What is your thoughts on that? You want to give that a try or no?
I don't know, because I don't know too many directors. I know a bunch of actors though.
Okay.
So
just stick with what we did.
yeah, if you're not comfortable with directors, like other than like Chris Columbus, because that's really because he done Mrs. Doubtfire, Child's Play, all this stuff.
I literally know
he
zero directors.
Did he do Child's Play? No, he didn't.
It was Tom Holland.
Yeah, no, I know zero directors.
Yeah,
So okay. He can do that one first. Okay, so do you want to obviously do genre next?
Let's do genre. Let's do animation, maybe.
Okay, we haven't done that at first.
This movie.
Comedy, maybe? Wait, who's the person who did this go around?
Me.
Oh.
Holiday. It's a Christmas one. I would say holiday. Maybe?
Yeah. Animation or holiday.
Do you want to do a third one? Just to add to it? Comedy? Horror? Action? Romance?
Let's do those two.
Is this a animation? Animation? Or holiday film?
Yes.
Okay.
So 2000.
Unless it's both, and then we kind of fuck.
Right.
Okay. So should we go with the top ones? Like the top holiday ones? Or
it's gonna come up with some like random Hallmark stuff. Literally the first 3 holiday movies that come up is Annie Claus is Coming to Town, The Christmas Blessing, Home for the Holidays. I'm assuming when it says holidays, it's Christmas movies. Are we making that assumption?
I am.
Damn, I guess we shouldn't have said holiday. We should have said Christmas.
Is this... should I ask?
I mean, I feel like if it was a Halloween movie, that would be more of a horror and not holiday.
But holiday, I mean, I don't think there's no Thanksgiving movies, are there?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, what's that? Plane, trains, automobiles? That's the Thanksgiving movie. Damn.
Could be animation, though.
Yeah, could be. Or both. There's only 19 movies. Wait, no.
What, 2005?
And none of these. I don't think he would have watched any of these.
I mean, you never know.
I'm gonna go with animation. I feel like that would be it. Like animation Christmas movie would be it.
When did like Meet the Fockers come out? Was that a Christmas movie?
I don't know.
I think it was like a wedding movie.
There's definitely a lot of animation that came out in 2005.
Okay. So let's ask the question. 'Cause I think it'll eliminate holiday if it is.
Okay. We'll go ahead and ask.
Is this a animated movie?
Yes.
So we got what, Disney, a bunch of DreamWorks movies, right?
There's Robots, Corpus Bride, Madagascar, Chicken Little, Hoodwink, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, Tarzan 2, Kronk's New Groove, Lilo and Stitch 2. Oh, Son of the Mask. Does that consider animation though?
No, I don't think so. I think
wouldn't.
animated has to be 100% like
Yeah,
it's either CGI or
Stuart Luder 3, Madagascar.
what?
Stuart
He's stealing stuff.
Stuart Little. There's Scooby-Doo. Oh, there's Tom and Jerry. There's Pokemon. There's Batman versus Dracula. Hey, there's Full Metal Alchemist movie came out in 2005. Street Fighter, Naruto,
and Stuart Luder in here. Maybe you quit reading.
Shut up.
Toss some words we say the wrong way on like a side drive, just like at the end of the year. Stuart Luder.
Should we ask?
Let's go by studios.
Okay. So, DreamWorks, Disney.
What's some more?
Is there more?
What's that one? The one with no, because that's Disney, right? Like the one that's got the lamp.
Oh, with the Minions. Is it Minions?
Illumination.
Yeah. Is that just Illumination?
Yeah, but I don't know if that was around back then.
So in 2005, there was Universal Animation Studios, Blue Sky Studios, because they filmed the Robots. Laika. They did Coraline, Kubo and Two Strings. They were founded in 2005. So not many. So I guess there's DreamWorks, Disney, Illumination, and then Universal.
Let's ask it.
Oh, well, hold on.
Yeah, okay. I mean, then we got Warner Brothers, right? And then just a couple of...
Would that be animation?
I mean, they do a lot of Batman movies.
Okay.
They do like the... Yeah.
So do you want to... Is there more than those 4?
Say them again. Disney.
DreamWorks, Disney, Universal, Warner Bros.
Those are the major ones, so let's go with those.
Do you want to do 2 at a time? Is this a DreamWorks or a Disney?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to see if it's...
Probably DreamWorks, because DreamWorks was like, it was full swing, because they had done Shrek, and it was getting ready to wind up for more Shrek movies.
Is this a DreamWorks movie?
Yes. That's 10.
Okay, that will narrow it down. So, animation is Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, Madagascar.
I remember that fucking movie.
It looks like there's only 2 animation movies that came out from DreamWorks.
I mean, I don't know.
Madagascar, which was released May 27, 2005, and The Wallace and the Gromit, October 7th, 2005.
Oh.
And those are the only 2 movies.
This is DreamWorks. Okay, so the Wallace and Gromit is English. They speak like English accent.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's that's the question you should ask. Or claymation. We didn't say claymation.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
Claymation?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's like they use clay like Nightmare Before Christmas. Or what's more? I don't know. But then animation is like Madagascar. So is Ray Romano and Chris Rock in this movie as voice actors.
Are you listening? Ray Romano and then Chris Rock.
No.
Chris Rock was in Madagascar, so that's a no. Was Ray Romano in
he was
The Curse of Weir Rabbit?
No.
Okay, who was in
Ray
that
Romano,
one?
Oh, he wasn't in Madagascar? I might have fucked that up.
I don't know, but Chris Rock was, though.
Yeah.
So it might be that Wallace one. Let me see who's in that one.
Do they have an English accent? Gromit?
Okay, so yeah, those are the only two. So Madagascar, and then the Wallace, and
Gromit.
Based on the characters by Nick Park, Steve.
Do they have an English accent?
Writers, producers. Are you asking that question?
No, I'm asking you if you want to ask that question.
Sure, why not? It's literally, there's only two DreamWorks English accent.
No.
I'm pissed off if because I'm only pulling up 2005 animation DreamWorks. Which one?
It was another Madagascar.
Penguins. Was he not in that one? Chris Rock?
Chris Rock, no.
Why is that one not pulling up on my list?
So this is Tom McGrath.
Tom McGrath?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, as the director?
Nope, that's one of the voice actors.
Oh. He was the director of Madagascar.
Who
Don't
is?
the penguins, what accents do the penguins have?
That's like a military American.
Oh, okay.
Go.
I mean, do you want to ask that? Because it's just the Madagascar and the Gromit one that was coming up for me.
Does this have Tom McGrath as a voice actor in here?
Yes.
I think it's it.
It is right.
So it kind of tricked us because it is a holiday animation movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got Tom McGrath in there.
I think this is all of it. Do you want to say if this one has penguins in it as characters? Just to confirm. Does this movie have penguins in it?
Yes.
I'd say it's that one.
I would say I can only answer yes and no questions.
Who are you pertaining that to?
Man.
Well, we already know it's penguins. I've never seen that movie, so what else is with that? What is the movie called?
It's Madagascar, penguins, and Christmas something.
Oh, and the Madagascar penguins and a Christmas caper. Oh, it's only 12 minutes long.
It's 12 minutes long.
How the hell is that considered a movie? I ain't considered no damn movie.
Ask that. Is it 12 minutes long?
Is this movie 12 minutes long?
No. It's 15.
Well, maybe with the beginning and the end. Is there more Madagascar penguin movie?
Not that I can find, Sam. I don't know.
Fucking A. This is in 2005 DreamWorks animated short film The Madagascar Penguins and a Christmas Caper features the adventures of 4 penguins from the Central Park Zoo. That is the only movie that's coming up in 2005.
It's the only one I can think of that's got that actor in there. We could look up
What was the actor? Tom
McGrath, because it'll be Madagascar and it'll be that one.
Yeah, the Madagascar Penguins. So it's either the original Madagascar or the Christmas one.
I asked about Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, and we took that out.
And he said no.
Yeah.
So
But he did just say it was not 12 minutes long.
I can do it. Oh, I throw in the towel, Sam. I'm done.
We got five more questions. I don't know anything about this movie.
Be specific with the plot. Is this movie about penguins on Christmas?
Let's see. Let's read the plot. There could be a polar bear named Ted. It says while most of the animals seem happy, a polar bear named Ted is all alone. Private, one of the penguins, therefore decides that a present would cheer up the polar bear. So ask him if there is a polar bear named Ted in it. Okay,
named Ted.
My 16th question is there a polar bear named Ted in this movie?
No.
I have no idea then. No idea.
I can only answer yes or no questions.
I don't know why you keep saying that. I'm talking to him. DreamWorks. But he said yes to animation, correct? Yes. Said it's a DreamWorks movie. Is the Chum scrubber animation? No. That's gonna be something fucking stupid that we bypassed.
Oh, shit. I might have fucked up. Well, Tom McGrath is in that movie, but he's a director. I thought he was a voice actor.
On which one?
But he is, it might be a voice actor.
For which one?
Regular Madagascar.
But Chris Rock was in the original one, and he said no.
It's Ben Stiller in this movie.
Yes.
Ben Stiller's in Madagascar, isn't he? But he said no to Chris Rock.
I'll just do regular.
There's only 3 movies that he played in 2005. Todd's Coma, Madagascar, the work of director Mark Romanek.
It's Red Madagascar then.
Did you say Madagascar? Where I guess is Madagascar.
Your guess is Madagascar.
Yep.
You got it right. You did it, guys. You did it.
You fucked us up.
Chris Rock, bro.
I can only answer yes or no to a question.
Yeah.
You asked if Ray Romano or Chris Rock was in here. If the answer is no to one of them, then it's no to both of them. I can't say yes or no. It's either yes or no.
You're being so damn specific. You know damn
That's
well
2 questions
I'm
then.
asking.
So do you want me to count it as 2 questions then? Is Ray Romano and Chris Rock in here? Well, Ray Romano's not, but Chris Rock is.
So the way
I shouldn't have said or.
Yeah, you should have said or.
You're so fucking specific.
But you got it. So congratulations.
Get on my nerves, bro.
Man, I was thinking about that for so long.
Damn specific.
You need to be more specific is what it sounds like. Y'all about just, I ain't never heard of some sore winners. Some sore winners. You know that?
We would have been done like 30 minutes ago if you would have
asked the
done.
right questions. Don't get mad at me because y'all stupid. Hey, listen. I'm going to tell you what I need. All right, listen here. Well, congratulations, guys. If you guys are listening, don't ever be like this if you win some. All right, guys? But be on the lookout for our next movie, The Grinch. 2000
Christmas.
18's
2018
Cumberbatch.
Yes.
Grinch.
Favorite.
That'll be coming to you in December, and that'll be it from us. Koala.
Me.
Grizzly.
Nah.
Keep on reeling.
Bye.